other team that's hot. And Welland and London, the two top teams in the league, are struggling down the stretch here.
Yeah, there is always that element, especially in this. I know we say momentum is as good as the next day's starting pitcher, and we've talked about the importance of starting pitching there, but also, the idea of momentum. You want to be playing good baseball. You want to be feeling good heading in to the games of most import there. And Herman swinging out a pitch that was wide. That brings the count to 1-1 for the Cardinals' second baseman tonight.
How about the performance of the Hamilton bullpen in Welland the last two games, Brent? We've talked about their struggles this year.
Outs. How about two of them with one pitch? How about coming in with men on base, throwing one pitch, getting a ground ball up the middle, and doing exactly what you need to do, and walking back to your dugout?
And I get it. Analytics, I understand. It looks good. Outs.
Outs.
I like outs.
I love them.
Yeah.
Well, not.
Really good.
I could wait till the next half inning to start seeing some here. But
get your point.
Yes. Speaking of which, Herman hitting one high and deep. Breaking back to the track at the wall, and the center fielder makes the catch. What a play, as Dominguez is going to have to go back to first. Herman certainly thought that one had a chance, and you can certainly see why. That is a great, great play made at the center field. The sun starting to set a little bit earlier. If that ball is hit a week or two ago, maybe much harder to track with the sun a little higher in the sky. So certainly taking advantage of Mother Nature helping him out there, and a great, great play in center field by Ejo there. Here is his counterpart, Tyler Duncan, taking strike one there. This is a guy we've talked about. You want to talk about the yo-yo effect in the top quarter or half of the lineup here, or third, I should say. Tyler Duncan has certainly been the poster child for that. He's hit first, he's hit second, he's hit cleanup. And it's a great defensive play to end the inning for Barrie.
Catcher to nail the runner at second base, and both pitchers get out of the first inning with no damage.
Certainly was. We love having you here in the park tonight, but we would love to have you here in the park tonight, but just because you're at home watching doesn't mean you can't get in on the fun. The 50-50 raffle in support of Cancer Assistance Program lets you win a little money and help out a great cause. Well, doing so, you can simply scan the QR code on the screen there. It will allow you to win some tickets, or buy some tickets, hopefully a winning one. That is the 50-50 raffle in support of Cancer Assistance Program. It is one of the beautiful things that Hamilton does here. A lot of promotion when we've got him on the diamond tonight, much like Caleb Sorosky and co. have provided here. And we will see how Sorosky is able to continue to work in this one as we see him warming up.
Yeah, Sorosky in an important leverage start for a guy who's not usually a starter. So we'll see what he can do for sure. Brent, just to illustrate the point about finishing first, winning the championship. So as you know, and I think a lot of people know who know my background in the inter-county baseball league, I was with the Maple Leafs for 35 seasons, 36 actually, because I came back in 2022 to help them out for that 1 year. But in those 35 years, the Toronto Maple Leafs were such a great team. We finished first 19 times. 19 times.
Yep.
Won 7 championships. Okay, that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
But 2 of those championships came in years where we did not finish first. So it was 19 pennants and 5 championships. In other words, finishing first guarantees nothing.
Nothing.
And it's the same thing in all sports, but I think especially so in this league. So, yes, how much if you're Hamilton do you go, come on, let's go all in and get that first spot? But you got to be ready to play the first round of the playoffs come probably Friday night, I would imagine.
Yeah, it does seem like that'll be the way, and you're right. It is such a fine balancing act. It's also, we see this in other sports, but the test in baseball for the postseason is the one that maybe sometimes feels the farthest from the regular season, right? The regular season of baseball is a test of endurance, the idea of how long, how many bodies can you shepherd through the year and finding arms here or there. You get in a best of 7 series. It's very, very different than the 48 games that you play along the way in a regular season.
Well, the top 2 ERA leaders in the Canadian Baseball League are Hamilton Cardinals, Yan and Boone, and you get into a best of 7 series, and you get those guys going 1-2. And there's other starters on the Cardinals. Don't get me wrong. But, you get a day off combined. You get those guys pitching twice in a 7-game series. I like their chances.
Yeah, I don't like whoever's facing them chances, that's for sure. And you go to imagine there'd not be many people signing up to face that either. Jan has been electric this year in terms of the strikeout stuff and what he's capable of. And then Boone, obviously, his capability to be a big game pitcher here. And just speaking of big game, Rio's doing a tremendous job fouling off pitches here, just sending them back, doing a great job of battling to stay in this count against Sorosky here. You know, professional hitting, professional at-bats, it can look many different ways, and Rio doing a great job of keeping himself in this one. Almost as good a job as Sorosky does, finishing it off there, finally getting a fish over the
to throw, and Rio did a good job extending that at-bat, but Sorosky with a nice pitch there to finish it off and record the strikeout. 2 strikeouts now as we're here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, and that's what you'd look for. You know, I know Sorosky would be subscribing to your newsletter where he said, yeah, swing and miss is nice. I like outs. Certainly like to pick them up as efficiently as possible. But anytime you're on the bump, you feel pretty good when you're sending them walking back after sitting them down with a strike 3, whether it's swinging or looking. And that's a good start for Sorosky, picking up the first strike of this at-bat to Nolan Micabroda, the first baseman for Barrie. And to that point about working deeper into games, you know, it's interesting. Does Sorosky, you know, maybe understanding he's ahead in the count, does he try to get Micah Broda with something fishing here? Does he just fire something in the zone? That's exactly what he does. Gets the tap back up the middle. Nickel onto the second base side of the bag, able to make the play over to Barrero at first there. That's the second very confident play we've seen from Nickel tonight.
Yeah, Nickel's been a force at shortstop all year and handled that ball easily. High hop came to him, but he had plenty of time to make the throw, and he fires it over. And again, the economy of pitches that Sorosky uses. I would suggest that the Hamilton Cardinals are going to let Sorosky pitch as long as he can.
And Nickel staying busy here. That one hit to his left this time, able to beat the throw or beat the runner to first with the throw, firing a strike across the diamond to Barrero. And Nickel's been all over it tonight, and Sorosky is working quickly and effectively. It is another scoreless inning for the Cardinals. We're through 1.5 here at Bernie Arbor, and you're right. You know, I don't think Luis Bernardo has it in his head of, okay, Caleb Sorosky is going to go 2, 3, pick a number, whatever it is. I imagine he has a sequencing of order of who may come after him, but I don't think he is going to, allow something like a set inning. Pitch count, yes. Inning, no, for Sorosky out of this game.
No question, Brent. That's usually the case. It's Guelph.
Kind of a big game.
Kind of a big game is right, because that's the last game of the regular season for Guelph. Guelph will be desperate for a win because that's their last chance to make up any ground at all for them to get into a top 3 spot. And you win that game tomorrow night, you are in the top 3 for sure, regardless of what happens tonight. So how do you manage these games when they're all important? And you think, well, tonight, yeah, you can eliminate Barrie, but tomorrow night you can eliminate Guelph. And tomorrow, and on Sunday, maybe you're playing for first place. And further to that, is leading London 2-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And again, London only has 2 games left to play tonight and Sunday. And that Sunday game against Welland, they are trailing 9-2 in the 5th inning. It's a resumed game from a game that was suspended. If the Cardinals run the table, Brent, they're in first place because they have the tiebreaker against London.
Yeah, remarkable spot to be in. I mean, you know, we've talked a lot about the playoff format and maybe things not playing out exactly as they would have wanted. We are getting an incredible playoff race. It's not a race to be in, but it is a race for what that first bit of playoffs is gonna look like here. And it will be Tyler Duncan leading things off for the Cardinals here in the Baby Blues. Sal Vasquez on the bump, gray pants, navy blues for the Barrie Baycats tonight. But Duncan showing bunt there, bringing the third baseman in, pulls back, taking strike 1.
So the Baycats have struggled a little bit down the stretch here, fallen into 5th place in the standings, a perennial champ, and this team needs to get going. But it will be a tough task for them. If they do not win tonight, they know for sure they will be on the road for a wild card game.
Yeah, they certainly will, and you know that's not a spot you want to be in. I'm sure there are a couple other teams in the CBL that would say, playing in the wildcard game sounds great to me, but not the way you would draw it up. I mean, to have a whole season come and go, and you qualify for the playoffs, and you don't even end up hosting a home playoff date, definitely not the way they would want to go about it. Beautiful shot from everybody in the truck there, as we see Vasquez there. That brings the count to 2-2.
Just 11 games left on the CBL schedule. It wraps up Sunday night. Tonight, Kitchener and Toronto playing a doubleheader at Christie Pitts. Brantford at London, of course, this game here. Tomorrow night, it's Kitchener at Brantford. Chatham-Kent at Barrie, Toronto at Welland, and Hamilton and Guelph. We talked about that game. And on Sunday, it all wraps up. Welland at London, Wednesday night.
There we go. Wednesday night, it'll be a big night for two teams in the CBL and a night of watching for one other one there as Duncan sends one off into the parking lot, staying alive on the 3-2 pitch. It was a great take by Duncan on the third ball of this at-bat to get it to 3-2. Now we'll see how he's able to handle Sal Vasquez, who is on the bump for Barrie tonight. Is the lefty-lefty matchup with Vasquez with the platoon advantage here against the lefty Duncan. He's rung up on the outside. Duncan was in the middle of tossing his bat aside. Thought that was ball 4, but better think otherwise as he walks back to the dugout. There is the first out. It's the first strikeout of the inning, second of the ball game for Sal Vasquez.
Nice pitching there for Vasquez as Duncan was kind of frozen on that. Tried to sell it a little, Barrie pitcher. First out of the inning.
Jaden Brown in now, again, one of the far from an irregular in the Cardinals lineup, but not necessarily one of the 9 you see in there every day. He's in the lineup tonight, batting behind Duncan. You know, we talk about this, extremely toolsy, a lot of power, a lot of speed. We've seen him put it to use for the Cardinals with some of their cardiac combats here late in the season. So we'll see how Brown does tonight, and it's Rainy Reyes at third base. He's waiting in the on-deck circle. Here comes a pitch from Vasquez, low and inside, taking is Brown. That brings the count to 2-0.
Bernardo's got a lot of faith in Brown. Hits him relatively high up in the lineup when he's in the lineup a lot of nights. Been a big contributor. Several games here. Steady presence.
Yeah, and the lefty-righty matchup, right? It's not everything. You don't want to be beholden to it, but if you can get it to your advantage and get a guy like Brown in the lineup, you certainly can understand why you'd want to do that. Fouls that one to the backstop, bringing it to 2-1. You know, just going back to the point we were making about the amount of arms the Cardinals are going to do, but I take a peek down in that Kitchener pen, and nobody's down there. So, you know, I will wonder if we see a guy walk out there before the start of an inning, understanding whether Soroski's in trouble or not. Maybe it's starting to run to a close there, but yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on tonight. In terms of the way Barrie's going about it, Vasquez, a very traditional starter, has made some relief appearances, but has also worked deep into games plenty this season, so less of a thing to watch in terms of how Barrie will handle this than how Hamilton will.
Well, generally, Bernardo likes to send the bullpen out to the bullpen, or maybe the bullpen walks out on their own. I don't know if Bernardo's sending them, but fourth, fifth inning, they all kind of leave
really
the
does
dugout
seem that way. You're
and
right.
Walk over and start stretching. That's the protocol. We'll see if that changes at all.
Brown turning on one. He's going to hit that all the way to the wall in left field. Speaking of turning, he's taking a big turn at first, and Jaden Brown will be in the second. One out here for the Cardinals, but Brown's got something cooking. Rainy Reyes will come to the dish with a chance to drive in a run for the first time tonight. Either team's got a runner in scoring position.
Brown was all over that pitch from Vasquez and hammered it into left field, and the ball kind of died by the fence and the warning track, giving him plenty of time to get in. So important in these games, and we'll see if the Cardinals do play a little bit more aggressively, or maybe not as aggressively, knowing that, you know, it's not their traditional starter. It isn't one of your guys who can play for a couple of runs. They need some big innings, perhaps.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see the way they play it out. You know, maybe I don't know if that makes it a little harder to run potentially, if that's the way you're looking at it. Obviously, Brown is not a guy you'd be afraid to steal a base with there. Rainy Reyes waving at it. The appeal says it did go.
How they play this. Barrie's infield kind of playing in a bit.
Yeah, we see the third baseman, feet on the grass there, and obviously not at a traditional second plate at the way the outfielders are set, and it is as standard as it gets, really no shift to speak of. So it's curious what Barrie maybe thinks maybe cooking here with 2 strikes. Obviously, maybe that limits things, but maybe not. As Brown goes, that one is fouled off by Rainy Reyes there.
Hit and run clearly on there. Brown had a great jump, and Reyes swinging in any pitch that came down the pipe. That one a little outside, but he managed to foul it off.
It's one of the things I think you have to give the Hamilton hitters a lot of credit for this year. You know, Darlin Herman has been because he just has faith they'll either, you know, put the ball in play or do what Reyes just did there and fouling it back. Reyes fishing in the dirt for one. Not going to be thrilled about that. There's this second out of the inning for the Cardinals. Brown still standing at second, and that'll bring Dario Barrero up.
Third strikeout of the game for Vasquez. He gets Reyes to kind of chase at one there. And Vasquez certainly, and Barrie, same position the Cardinals are in. Now, a little different, though. Cardinals still have 2 games to play this weekend. Barrie with just one left on the week first. But even to get a top 3 spot, even a top 2 spot, you can afford a loss. There's no room for error for Barrie tonight.
No, there's not, and you can see why they go to a guy in Vasquez, who they obviously have a ton of trust in on the mound tonight. Dario Barrero up at the dish now, playing first tonight. Obviously, he's been very busy tonight. That's a good position if you want to be busy. You're going to get a lot of action over there, especially the way Soroski has been trusting the infield defense tonight. But a late add to the Cardinals, and you can see what they saw in him here, fishing over the top of that one for the first strike of the at bat.
Vasquez off speed is working really well tonight, Brent. A couple of times the Cardinals have been looked way behind on the swing, and he's taking advantage of that.
Yeah, it could be an uncomfortable thing, if you obviously, if you're someone that can run it up there, the fastball, maybe it's a little easier to just sit on, but when the off speed is going, the guy has faith in it, it can be really, really hard. There we see him go back to the fastball, looking to catch the corner on the outside, unable to do so, brings the count to 2-1.
So Fan Appreciation Day here at Barrie Arbor Memorial Stadium on Sunday. Brantford Red Sox the visitors. First pitch, 4:05 as usual on Sundays. We'll wrap up the regular season for the Cardinals, and it's beginning to look, that game will be of great significance as well. But we'll see in the next 2 days.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. Barrero chopping one up the middle. Shortstop has to wait on it, but still has time to fire it over for a strike to first base, and that wraps things up in the end of the second inning here. Cardinals get a double from Jaden Brown, but are unable to advance. Friends at Armstrong Bird Food. So, kids, you guys match the dog or the dude in 3, 2, 1. You're up.
Sometimes the littlest things can make the biggest difference. Like nature brightening your day. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong Bird Food. Feeding Cardinals since 1986.
Welcome back into Barrie Arbor Memorial Stadium. Look, it's serious business here tonight at the ballpark, okay? There's a lot of postseason pecking order to be. Finally got them all on the diamond now, but it is one of the great traditions, and I know many a Hamilton Cardinals fan who holds it near and dear, and you can see it on these kids' faces. They are pumped up to be out there, getting a chance to run around where their Cardinals heroes play a little baseball. Lovely thing they do here at Barrie Arbor Memorial Stadium. Just like it's shaping up to be a lovely end to the regular season with a lot of import. Not the one double, but you want to take advantage when you do get a runner in scoring position. Let's hope that opportunity gone awry doesn't come back to bite him, Raj.
So you see the way the CBL has gone this year. There have been a lot of high-scoring games, a lot of, quite frankly, sloppy games. You can see now we're not in the playoffs yet, but this is playoff-style baseball here tonight. Scoreless through 2. You got to take advantage of every opportunity. You get a different level of competition and play as you get to the postseason. And for all intents and purposes, we're in the postseason now with these teams. Soroski starts his 3rd inning, and nobody is out of that Cardinal bullpen, down in the bullpen. Soroski's going to pitch for a while here tonight, Brent.
Yeah, nobody down there. The last time he was used as an opener, he went 3 innings. That was in Kitchener. So the Cardinals very much on pace to get that out of him tonight. But he's got the 3rd inning to get through. And to your point, Raj, I don't think they'll be done with him there if that's the way it shakes. It does seem a little supercharged. 1, the children were just running around. And 2, this is the beer batter. So if he is struck out, there will be a beer happy hour in the concourse for the rest of the inning.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on this guy here to avoid being struck out. Nobody wants to be the beer batter, and yes, the kids returning to the stands, 100% great promotion.
And there is Soroski firing in, pumping a strike at the top of the zone there, right at the letters. And once again, working quickly and working confidently, Soroski is ahead 0-2 in the count here. Hamilton native. My first pitch when we had the honor on opening day there, Raj. So a stalwart and a staple here for Hamilton. And if you could corral a first pitch from me, it's like you got to be doing something right. Here comes Soroski with the 0-2. Looking to expand and unable to get the batter to do so. That brings the count to 2-2.
Well, Tyler Rempel caught my first pitch. It was right down the pipe, so he didn't have to move his glove an inch. But I hear what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
I think really, A lot of things have happened to this franchise this year, but I think it's because we're here. This team is so good.
I can't say no. We'll just see tough play by Nickel, firing it there. Nickel is putting together a little highlight reel tonight. Not that there isn't plenty of plays to go around from elsewhere in this season, but if you think this game doesn't mean much, go tell Brandon Nickel, because he is playing out there tonight. It's the third great play. Okay, you know, it's second great play we've seen him make tonight. A couple other routine ones. There was, of course, the play that he had to make the quick pick to start the double play that ended the first inning, but that's another really, really nice play by the Cardinals shortstop.
That one was a highlight reel. That was a tough one, and he had to be quick. He had to be perfect. He didn't have time to really plant himself fully. Got enough on the ball over there. Beautiful 6-3.
Yeah, and also got to watch it, right? Because Sorosky, and you don't blame him for this, waved at it as it was trying to go by. You don't know what that's going to do. Does it get a tip? Does it get a, does it take a little bit of life off of the ball as it goes through? So really, really nice job by Nickel. There are some good defenders on this Cardinals team, but one of them definitely popping to mind is a guy like Evan McGill and what he's done behind the dish. But, Nickel, he has been victim of some tough hops in this infield like many have, but his defense has been a quick 1-2-3 strikeout for Caleb Sorosky, and he is 1 out away from getting out of the third inning here.
Sorosky, 3 Ks on the game, is not allowed a hit yet, and I think even to call him an opener is not doing it real justice. Brent, sometimes people just equate, I think, the CBL and over 6 months. This is just did, but he could say him before over 6 months. This is just did, but he could say to him before the game, look, I need you to pitch as long as you can tonight.
Right.
Say to him before the game, look, I need you to pitch as long as you can tonight.
Right.
And he may not be used again until the first game of the playoffs, which might not be.
Yeah, it is interesting to see. Now, I will say, we were updating earlier on, and we see us showing a bunt there, pulling back as that one ran in on the hitter, number 11 for the Barrie Baycats there. But I just feel it's only fair to update everyone. There are now bodies in the Hamilton bullpen. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to call them active.
They went out to sit out.
They're sitting out there. I don't know if somebody's telling bad jokes in the dugout. I don't know if it's just part of their process, but certainly could not get a glove on it. I don't know if it's just part of their process, but certainly could not get a glove on it. That's a ball that only your third baseman is going to be able to get to, and just out of the reach of Reyes.
Look behind him. He had to keep his back to try to track that ball down. That is really tough. Stuck the glove out, tried to make the play, but extremely difficult play. Just goes as a foul ball, count 2-2.
I mean, just look how long it took him to walk back to his position there. I think that tells you everything you need to know about how far he had to go, and we talk about it all the time. There is a ton of foul territory here to come up with it, but still a strike for Sorosky. That one's in the dirt. That brings the count to 3-2 here for the Cardinals. Love to get out of this one as Sorosky has been cruising so far early on. This is the 9-hitter, leadoff man Ejo waiting in the on-deck circle. Sorosky fires the 3-2. And that's 3 up, 3 down for the Cardinals.
How long Sorosky was put or penciled or penned in for Bernardo to pitch tonight, but you could not ask for 3 better innings. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits, facing the minimum number of hitters, limited number of pitches to get out of that 3 innings, and a really, really excellent performance so far by Sorosky. And of course, we mention again, games tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon here at Bernie Arbor. Both games that may affect Hamilton's ability to get into that top 3 spot.
That's what he's looking like tonight. Sorosky looking very comfortable. Quite frankly, on the other side of things, he did give up the hard hit double to Brown, but Vasquez matching him very much as equal through the first 2 innings we've seen out of him. Again, a more traditional starter Barrie's turning to tonight. They understand how important this one is, but he has certainly matched Sorosky pretty much pitch for pitch so far in terms of what he's been able to.
Finishing, both teams have qualified for the playoffs. The top 5 teams easily qualified for the playoffs in the CBL. But 4 versus 5 sudden death, as opposed to a guaranteed best of 7. And if you're in the top 2, best of 7 with home for that spot are pulling out all the stops tonight.
And it is Jeremy Vieux. This is the 8-hitter. McGill up. Vieux, the 9-hitter. Of course, turn things over to Nickel and the top of the order, at least Nickel, as this inning goes on. Here comes Vasquez with the 1-1, throwing it to McGill. That off-speed stuff, you mentioned it, Raj. Vasquez has been extremely crisp with it tonight, but also trusting it to throw that pitch on the outside corner there. You know, understanding you leave it a little bit on the plate, and McGill can absolutely hammer it. Really, really trusting the secondary stuff tonight.
Setting him up with the off-speed stuff and then finishing off the at-bat with the strikeout. Vasquez, no surprise, is going to get a lot of innings tonight for Barrie.
Yeah, certainly is. He has faced Hamilton once this year. I'll tell you about that as the ball game goes on. Vieux hitting one out, confusing the right fielder there, and it's going to get down. It's going to bounce off the wall, and Vieux's into second. What a hit by Vieux. A little bit of confusion by the right fielder, and for the second straight inning, the Cardinals have got a runner in scoring position with just one out in the inning.
This looked like it was catchable. It looked like he had tracked it down and then just went the other way. It just seemed to escape him for some reason. So it bounces in, and the Cardinals have a runner at second for the second straight inning.
Generally speaking, I don't think of lake break as something that's like like a slider term or a cutter term. I don't necessarily think of it as a fly ball to the right fielder, but you're right, Raj. It almost did look like it had that there. And here's Nickel coming up. You know, this is a move to the cleanup spot before. A great person to have up at the dish right now for the Cardinals as they look to get on the board for the first time this game. Vasquez there, Nickel unable to make the play as the third baseman. Vieux is going to be held at third, and Nickel makes a big turnaround first, but the Cardinals still one out, and they've got runners on first and third for the two-hole hitter, Carlos Dominguez.
Tough play by the third baseman, had to reach across his body to pick that one up, so it'll be a base hit, and the fly ball by Vieux also scored, and rightfully so, a double, so the Cardinals taking advantage of it. Tough break for Vasquez because he made two pretty good pitches to get outs, but as you can see there, just enough of real estate between the ball and the third baseman to fall in for a base hit after the right fielder was unable to pick up that ball. And now we've got runners at first and third, one out, and the catcher taking some time to go out and talk to Vasquez and just settle him down a little bit here, as couple of tough breaks have the Cardinals on the corners.
Yeah, you saw in the replay there, not exactly how you draw things up here, but Nickel getting his base hit by hitting it about an inch in front of home plate. Sometimes doesn't matter how, it's just how many. And how deep is that? Dominguez thumps one into the Hamilton night. Count them up, 1, 2, 3 for the Cardinals in the third inning. Dominguez stays on fuego, launching that one. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. And let me tell you, folks, Carlos Dominguez knew exactly where that one was headed the second he heard the crack of the bat. A moonshot from the Cardinals right fielder, and the Cards are cooking. It's 3-0 here in Hamilton.
So the hit on Vieux, the double, maybe a little bit of a misplay by the right fielder. The hit by Nickel down the third base side, not so much a misplay, but a tough break for the pitcher. Not a tough break for the pitcher at all there. He puts it down the middle to Dominguez, and he hammered that ball to left field. Never a doubt that was leaving. And the Cardinals with a huge 3-run homer here early to take a 3-0 lead.
Massive stuff from Dominguez, and you saw in the replay there, he knew immediately that ball was nuked, hitting it past the scoreboard, not quite over it, but certainly past it. Just a hammer shot by Carlos Dominguez there. Here comes the Darlin Herman up to the dish now. Now, he hit one pretty deep to the track his last time out here. You know, he would love to replicate that just with a couple more feet this time. But man, what a big moment that is for the Cardinals, allowing a little breathing room here. Not that that'll really change how they manage the game too much, but just so important to get on the board early. And man, that ball was smoked by Herman, but it is right at the shortstop there, and that's as hard hitting out as they come. It'll bring way for Tyler Duncan with 2 out.
For sure, but yes, Dominguez with that blast has the Cardinals up 3-0, and now it's Vasquez to steady himself down here and make sure the damage doesn't get any worse here for Barrie, as the Cardinals using the home run ball take an early 3-0 lead.
Oh, it was such a hard thing for them to come by early on in the season. I remember, talking to many people around the team and watching games here and just talking with people around the park. And, as much success as they were having, you were wondering where that was. And, man, they have certainly leaned.
Duncan is not connected for as many homers this season as he has in past seasons, but still is a significant contributor to this team offensively, outstanding in center field.
Yeah, one of the spines of your team, right? We always talk about building up the middle. Obviously, the importance of pitching, but the catcher, the shortstop, and the center field are so important. And, a big reason why the Cards have had the success they've had this year is the strength of that spine and what McGill's been able to give them. You've seen what Nichols capable of tonight. An all-star, obviously Derby and in-game performance, very different, but the third straight year he picked up a home run Derby crown. So certainly the power swing is in there. Just hasn't been able to find it in the game, although I should say hit a pretty big one against Welland earlier this week, so maybe rounding into form at exactly the right time.
Oh, sure did. That home run against Welland was a massive part of the 2-game sweep the Cards had in Welland.
Duncan hitting that one hard up the middle. Hernandez borderline jumping, just didn't come, and Duncan standing on first, extending the inning here for the Cardinals.
Hard hit ball by Duncan, kind of ate up the shortstop there. That'll be a base hit as well as the Cardinals keep it going. They have hit some hard hit balls here against Vasquez in this third inning, Brent. Maybe a little tough luck, as I said at the start of the inning for the Barrie starter. But that line drive to shortstop, the home run, of course, and that scorcher by Duncan keeps the inning going for Hamilton.
And we'll see if Duncan is maybe you don't want to take any chances ending the inning. Of course, Jaden Brown with the first extra base hit of the game with his double. He was stranded in the in the second inning for the Cardinals. Brown showing bunt, pulling back, but it's a strike, and all of a sudden he is at 0-2 here. Brown checking into third, getting his signals, seeing how they'll want to play this. Again, Duncan on first, Brown at the dish. Caleb Sorosky, the opener, the starter, whatever you want to call him tonight, should be coming back out for the fourth after 3 spectacular innings. You leave a pitch or two middle, and this Cardinals team will seemingly always make you pay for that mistake.
3 or 4 really hard hit balls in this inning off him. No question.
And it's always funny how quickly that switch can flip, whether the pitcher just finds it or whether the offense just starts to see what they've got here. And, talking to some people around the team, they've said that's one of the things they've really kind of noticed with this Cardinals team is almost the first time through the order when you're facing a starter, getting your feet wet, understanding what they've got, and then that will be the third strike of the at-bat and the third out of the inning. But 3 is the number of the inning because the Cardinals put up a 3 spot thanks to a blast from Carlos Dominguez. We'll be back for the 4th inning after this. It's Cable 14 Friday Night Baseball.
Oh hey there, my name is Steven Sobot, and I'm your host for Breaking Pack, the show that opens up the latest and newest trading cards to see what we can find inside these boxes. From Pokemon to Magic the Gathering to hockey or other sports to what other card game I get my hands on. Catch us on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Check out Breaking Pack here on Cable 14 to quench your thirst for cardboard addiction.
When I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2011, what scared me more than anything was the impact it would have on my 3 young boys. I was determined to show them that light would come from that darkness. Through that experience, I saw firsthand the importance of community and gained the courage to start a company built on those same values. Today, our team at Three Little Birds Residential Cleaning is proud to partner with Bright Run, giving back to the research that made my survival possible right here in Hamilton.
I'm Dr. Mark Levine, retired medical oncologist and breast cancer researcher. I'm also one of the founders of the Bright Run. I would love it if you joined us on Saturday, September 12th at Christie Lake Conservation Area for our 19th annual Bright Run. Help us fund critical breast cancer research right here in Hamilton. Visit brightrun.ca for more information.
Welcome back here to Barrie Arbor Memorial Stadium. The Cardinals putting a 3-spot up on the board in the third inning thanks to a moonshot from Carlos Dominguez. Speaking of threes, they've got 3 great innings out of Caleb Sorosky tonight, and he'll continue working into the fourth year, acting as the starter for the Cardinals tonight. This is a massive, massive game, as you've mentioned, Raj. The one they really got to win is tomorrow, but hey, you're here, might as well win them all with 3 games left.
Brantford still leading London 3-1 in the 5th inning of Labatt Park tonight.
Man, and Caleb Sorosky just all over the corners of this strike zone here, picking up another frozen strike on the outside here. And man, if you want to keep the pitch count down, the strikeout is not always the way to go about it, but Caleb Sorosky has kind of walked and chewed gum at the same time tonight, not doing a terrible job of running up the pitch count, while also
hits in 3 1/3 innings.
That one is fouled back. A lot of different ways to work ahead. You can get the foul. That's certainly, well, not a lot, a couple, and that's certainly one of them there. Swing and strike, foul back, and Sorosky will get a chance to work ahead here. Number 4 for the Hamilton Cardinals. Wiry starter. Peering in over the tan glove, delivering. Swing and miss there. Working quickly, getting ahead quickly. And once again, it's an 0-2 count for Sorosky. Feels like he has had a lot of those tonight, Raj.
Bullpen is starting to stretch down the left field line, but certainly Sorosky is going to be given the opportunity to finish this inning because nobody yet tossing.
No, nobody tossing, getting ready. We'll be curious to see. You know, the other thing I was thinking about with a game where you're going to lean on several, unsure quite how many. Sorosky looking for the strikeout on the outside. It's wide. That'll bring the count to what jobs up for grabs in terms of the pecking order of this bullpen, in terms of who Bernardo trusts. You know, obviously not the most important thing. You want to get the win tonight. But if you're a reliever getting into this game, and there's going to be a few of them that do, it'll be curious how much trust they can earn from their manager in the innings they do get tonight.
Well, there's no question that if there was an Achilles heel on the Hamilton team, and maybe it still is the bullpen and how good the bullpen is on a regular basis. But we go to those 2 games against Welland, Brent, and this bullpen really came up big.
And another strikeout for Sorosky there. McGill able to hold on to it, and that is a 3rd strike there. It's a
bullpen, so they go pitching, and with good reason. I mean, you know, they were absolutely terrific in both games. Owen Boone, 5 1/3 last time, but Corey Workington and Adames combined for 3 2/3 scoreless innings in that second game in Welland. So that's pretty impressive. Then the previous game, Tuesday, they have, you know, Hector Yan, who's a guy who's, you know, as we all know, one of the top pitchers in this league. And the bullpen does it again, combining for a couple of...
In a spot like that, it's really only going to be room for the relievers you trust the absolute most. It'll be fascinating to see who that ends up being for the Cards. Sorosky able to get in a flare one out. Barrero working his way a couple of steps back of first base, and Caleb Sorosky continues to cruise for the Cardinals. Blanks across the board, and it is still scoreless for Barrie, while Hamilton is chased 3 o'clock across as we head to the bottom of the 4th.
Great performance by Sorosky, no question. 4 hitless innings, 5 Ks now, 1 walk, and you could not ask for better. Playing a doubleheader tonight at Dominico Field at Christie Pitts. That first game started around 5 o'clock, second night. Brantford now on top of London, 4-1, playing in the 5th inning in London, and we'll keep an eye on that game because, again, if London loses that game, the Majors have game, and they are trailing that game 9-2 in the 5th inning. So therefore, London loses tonight and perhaps loses that Sunday game. Hamilton runs the table. The Hamilton Cardinals improbably would win the inaugural CBL pennant. Now that's a lot still to have happen, but end of the day, Brent, a win tonight would really go a long way to solidifying Hamilton's place as a team in the top 3.
So you're saying there's a chance,
There's
Raj.
a chance, I'm saying.
There's a chance. Full moon, we're getting a wonderful shot of it on the thing. I mean, beware that full moon. The way Dominguez is launching baseballs here, it could be in trouble. We are going to see the Cardinals continue the offense, see if they can pick back up where they left off. Sal Vasquez was cruising and ran into a little trouble in that bottom of 3, but good start to the inning for him as he picks up a looking strike 1 on Rainy Reyes, the third baseman up here.
Reyes struck out in the second inning, 0 for 1 tonight.
So Sal Vasquez, this is just the second time this year the Cardinals have got a look at him. The last time he went 6 innings of 1-run ball, allowing 7 hits while striking out 9. Now that did come in a loss for Barrie. Obviously not necessarily Vasquez in terms of the schedule at times, in terms of the number of teams. Always is surprising when you get this deep into a year and you see somebody that's seen a team like Hamilton just once. But probably a nice little advantage Barrie thought they had coming into this one with the bit of an unknown perhaps. And there's that one chopped by Reyes past his third base counterpart. Shortstop ranging over. What a play. Beats him with the throw, just a step or two ahead of Reyes there. That was a great play ranging deep into the hole by the Barrie shortstop.
Man, Hernandez showed his arm strength on that one. I thought he might have been well served to eat that ball. Throw over to first base to rather easily get Reyes at first. And Reyes with some decent speed. Great play by the Barrie shortstop.
Yeah, a lot of ways to be a good defender, right? You can have range, you can have a good arm. Why not both? And he showed him off on that play. Vasquez getting knocked off his feet, and the shortstop will have to do it again. But the Micah Breda is unable to scoop it at first. That's going to allow Barrero to reach. Man, the shortstop is being asked to do everything over there. Brandon Hernandez, he has to range all the way into basically left field to make the play before that. And then that one required him to come up throwing in front of second base. A big, big range ask of the plays that Hernandez has had to make this inning.
Tough play there for sure. It was a chopper through the pitcher's mound, and Vasquez couldn't get a glove on it. Still enough time for the shortstop to pick up that ball, Hernandez, but couldn't quite get it there. Low throw. That scored an E6, and the Cardinals have a runner on here with 1 out.
Evan McGill, the lefty, up now. Last time he was up, he fell victim to a fastball on the outside for strike 3. We'll be curious to see how Vasquez handles him this time. And this time coming inside a little bit, and McGill able to flare that one off. Brings the count to 1-1.
McGill also struck out in the second inning, but after his strikeout, that's when Veyu, Nickel, and Dominguez did the damage in the third inning to give the Cardinals their 3 runs.
Well, I've talked about it before. You know, this Cardinals team, it's part of the beauty of having a long lineup that you trust. They've done such a good job of turning things over from the bottom of the lineup to the top. And, you know, sometimes even with runners no longer with the team, a Yoki Pena that was doing that earlier, and we see it not a regular everyday player in VU finding a way to do it tonight. McGill scorches one right at the first baseman. Nothing Barrero can do. He gets doubled off there, and that is a quick double play there. And the way it was going for Vasquez, another hard hit ball, but it's a couple of outs, and he will take it the way it goes there. We are through 4 innings here at Burning Arbor Memorial Stadium, and as always, let's say thank you to our friends at Rawlings.
A glove was a big deal.
There he is, Caleb Sorosky back out for the. No surprise there if you have watched any of this game today with House mentioned. There might be a little traffic over there in the Hamilton bullpen, but nobody getting ready with any level of real urgency over there. So it seems like, and the way he's pitched, why would you go about it any differently? They're going to let Sorosky eat as long as he can in this one.
Sorosky's faced a minimum number of hitters, 12 through 4 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. The walk was erased by a 6-4-3 double play. He has had 5 ground ball outs. You're absolutely right, Brent. He has been just tremendous here through 4 innings. I still think, Bernardo will have someone available on the get-go relatively quickly, and it looks like they're going to have somebody starting to toss here shortly.
That's Connor Corey who's up now there, and there is the I'm not sure exactly who that is because it's normally Jeremy Vieux that goes out there and handles all of this, and he's a little busy DHing tonight, so perhaps Yomer Hernandez would be another guy that would make a lot of sense for that role, but they do have a catcher down there in the pen for Connor Corey, so if they need to get out of a jam in this inning, it'll likely be him coming in to do the job. To walk back to the Cards dugout with his teammates as opposed to on his own with the skipper there.
Rijo steps in. He's 0 for 1, struck out in the second.
Soroski falling behind a little bit in this one. 2 balls to Rijo, watching the first 2 here. Dominguez in the 3rd inning. Soroski coming inside. Barrero ranging over, unable to get a glove on it. And that'll be the first hit of the ball game. Soroski gives up.
And Rijo hit them where they ain't, as the old saying goes. Did exactly that between the first baseman. Get a glove on it, but no such chance. Hard hit ball. Clean single for Rijo. First hit of the game for Barrie.
Yeah, you could see the frustration from Barrero would love to make it, but not when you expect him to there with how hard that ball was hit. We'll see how Soroski deals with a little traffic for the first time tonight. Like to get out of this inning, where are we at with Connor Corey? Could be, how are you feeling? This is deeper than you've worked into a game. And, it's not just the pitch count stuff. It's also for a guy who normally comes in relief, the getting in, the going up, the getting in, the going up. A little different than what's been asked of bullpen warming up there.
No doubt Soroski has been impressive, but there's also no doubt that Bernardo does not want to press it with a guy who's been primarily a reliever this season and has not worked this deep into games. So we'll see what kind of leash he's on here as Corey starts to get a little bit more serious.
Yeah, 5-hole hitter. Micah Breda up now, watching a strike on the outside. That brings the count to 2-1 for Caleb Soroski here. And you're so right about that, Rod. When you have in the import of all of these games, and the fact that you're into the 5th inning with him, probably beyond maybe not that you expected in your wildest dreams or anything like that, but I think if Bernardo was putting together a game plan, he probably would have said 4 innings from Soroski, sign me up. And lo and behold, here Soroski is working. Bernardo would think he's got his money's worth out of the starter tonight.
Well, you don't want to press it either, Brent. It's a great performance. Sometimes you have a tendency to get a little greedy. Maybe at the start of the game, you're thinking, hey, if Soroski can give us 2-3 clean innings, wouldn't that be great? We're in the 5th inning with this guy, and you want to take it as deep as you can, but on the other hand, you don't want to press it.
No, you certainly don't. Shift for the infield. Herman ranging all the way into the hole in second. That one's flared out to left field. Jaden Brown going over to make the catch, and Rijo will make his way back to first. Caleb Soroski settling down. A flare out gets him the first out of the inning. Still a runner on first. Wandy Cyprian, the 3rd baseman, up to bat now.
Cyprian grounded to short in the first inning. So therefore 0 for 1. Rijo remains at first. No speed threat, to say the least, on the bases here. And Hernandez to hit into a 6-4-3.
Yeah, and it's funny just the way this game has, obviously the Cardinals have done a good job of getting their runs across the plate here, but the last inning mirrored this one here of a ball hit past the first baseman. You have a runner on first, then you get a double play to get out of the inning. They would love a repeat of how they were like we saw the Cardinals threat the last time up.
Bullpen remains active for the Cardinals, so if Soroski does falter in the next batter or two, Bernardo will not hesitate to replace him, but he has done a great job, been effective, and again ahead of the hitters. 0-2 count here.
Freezing him on the outside. That's a great pitch by Caleb Soroski, and not the take Wandy Cyprian wanted, but there it is. It's another strikeout for Caleb Soroski, and all of a sudden he is just 1 out away from getting out of the inning.
They still have the best ERA in the Canadian Baseball League. Hamilton ranks 3rd in hitting, 3rd in fielding, but 1st in pitching based on the ERA stat. And you can see why. Soroski, a big part of this bullpen, and what a performance he's putting on here.
Yeah, and really incredibly impressive to me the way he has battled back and kind of refound himself in this, falling behind the first 2 batters of the inning, giving up the hit perfectively. Soroski able to pick up the ball. It is fair, and he makes the tag. Flips it to Barrero, and the inning is over there. Another cruising inning for Caleb Soroski, getting out of the first mini jam he found himself in. The one hit comes across, but it is stranded at first base there, and Caleb Soroski is through 5 scoreless innings here at Hamilton. Big hug from Luis Bernardo, so we'll see if that's it for him, and if it is, you certainly got to tip your cap to a tremendous outing from Soroski.
6 strikeouts, 1 walk, allowed 1 hit, just as leadoff single in that inning to Rijo. Faced 1 batter over the minimum. That is a quality start. All caps on the quality. And the Cardinals needed somebody to come out of that bullpen and chew up a pile of innings. Sorosky gave him exactly that tonight, if that is indeed the end, and I would presume it would be, although, boy, you'd be tempted to keep pitching him because he is really dealing tonight, Brent.
Yeah, it really would be tempting. Okay, I know you stubbed your toe there. We got that out of our system, right? Let's see if we can run one more, but Connor Corey certainly looked ready to come in there, and he's still milling around, stalking about, but it does seem like the arm is as ready as it needs to, although, I don't know, the way the Cardinals have hit, could be a while till they, which means that we will see Nickel and Dominguez coming up in this inning. Obviously, Herman and Duncan lurking behind them as well.
Back to the CBL out-of-town scoreboard tonight. The Brantford Red Sox put up 5 runs in the top of the 5th inning to take a 7-1 lead against the Majors tonight. Now the Majors still batting in the bottom of the 5th though, and have answered with 2 runs back, but it is still 7-3. Brantford leading London bottom of the 5th. And again, if London loses that game, the Majors will have 1 game left in the season, Sunday at home against Welland, and it's the completion of a suspended game, and they are trailing that game 9-2. Therefore, London would end the season with 31 wins if those results stay the same. And Hamilton looking for their 29th win tonight with 2 games to play. You do the math at home. Figure that out.
No, I will not. I will not. Just so we're clear, I was told there would be no math. I got into sports, and dirty little secret out there, kids, if you too want to get into sports. There's so much math. Every day someone's like, he's this for his last that. There's fractions. There's well, maybe not equations, but there's percentages involved. There's a lot more math than I was told there'd be. So I will leave it up to whoever out there wants to do it. Here's what I do know. Got to win some ball games. Got to win tomorrow. Would really like to win tonight if you are Hamilton. And Sal Vasquez continues to work here. There's been so much talk about the Cardinals and how they're going to go about things on the pitching side of things. It was a little more straightforward here from Barrie, but after Vasquez getting hit hard, obviously in that 3rd inning, some more hard contact after that, we do see a little bit of traffic up in the Barrie bullpen as well. So we'll see how long the leash is on Vasquez. And you've pointed this out, Raj. We're obviously pretty preoccupied with what the Cardinals need to do. It's even clearer picture for Barrie. Win tonight. Absolute must for them.
Well, Barrie loses tonight. It's nice and clear and simple. Not to their liking. They finish 5th. End of story. If the Baycats lose tonight, they will finish 5th. They will go on the road for a 1. And a strike 3 is swung through there. Whichever team that would be. And Hamilton would temporarily move into sole possession of 3rd place, a half game over Guelph. So that game tomorrow night is big, obviously, Hamilton and Guelph. But game to get into 3rd place, they could do that by beating Brantford on Sunday. So another opportunity for the Cardinals with the extra game to play to get their way into the top 3. So yes, vital games for everybody, but it's a must-win for Barrie.
Certainly is. And for those of you doing the math at home, again, good luck. I will not be joining you. Guelph has the tiebreaker over Hamilton. Dropping it in center field there, and the Cardinals have their first base runner of the frame here as Nickel gets on board with a single.
McNichol 2 for 3 now. Singleton scored back in the 3rd, struck out in the 1st. That brings Dominguez to the plate, and he's already had a big night. 2
down, that's for sure. Now, this is very Cardinals. Now, again, you never know if they're showing versus actually attempting to, but a guy hits a moonshot in his last AB and then shows bunt in his first pitch of the following AB.
Brent, bunting's a little more back in baseball because you know why? The Tampa Bay Rays are bunting again. So the kings of analytics for so many years, interesting discussion we had on the Fan about that today, are playing a lot of small ball and bunting and moving runners around. A lot of that has to do with their personnel, but listen, if you can bunt successfully, well, by all means, go ahead. The problem is a lot of guys can't.
Oh, a lot of guys make it look very, very hard, and I don't think it's easy, but a lot of guys certainly not making it look that way. And, the other thing we've talked about, Raj, is, defense can sometimes come and go in this league, and you want to put the ball in play. You want to force somebody to make a play. That's as good a way as any to do it sometimes. Now, again, I know technically not a ball in play, but if you could do what Dominguez did last time, I think we'd all be very, very happy with that. But, yeah, if you're going to force the defense chance to make more plays and make tough plays, a lot of times that's going to be to your advantage in this league from what we've seen. So, yeah, I can't say I'm overly surprised there. We know Luis Bernardo is unafraid to necessarily play for the one run.
Well, when you have a pitching staff, and especially starters like Hamilton has, and a couple of them, why not?
There goes Nickel off and running. Will the tag be in time? Throw was there. Man, excellent glove work on the tag there. Nickel is called out. He's going to be frustrated about that.
Yeah, that was a great throw. Nickel had a pretty good jump on that, but that was a great throw to the right part of the bag. Shortstop executed the tag nicely. And as you see, I don't know if we'll pick it up when he leaves, but catcher up immediately. And we'll look where that throw is. And Nickel just a little bit
throws you can make
and
from
that's
that
and that's where it had to be for sure.
Dominguez hits one hard, eating up the third baseman again, and Dominguez is going to get on base. Okay, we'll try this again. Cardinals have a runner on first here now, this time 2 outs in the frame.
Big night continues for Dominguez. 3 for 3, 2 singles, and the 3-run homer. Was caught stealing in the first inning, so the Cards 0 for 2 trying to steal bases tonight, but what a night Dominguez is having. And his big bat is the reason this game is 3-0.
Certainly is. You do wonder a little bit about the idea of running with a guy like Dominguez up at the plate, and the talent of hitters you have behind him in a Herman and a Duncan as well. But when the stolen base has been something you've used a little bit, although the Cards haven't used it as much as other teams, you really hope that doesn't come back to bite them. But the way they're pitching so far, you don't think it will be, but it'd be hard to wonder if 3 won't be enough. I don't think it will be, but man, the way they've pitched thus far in the game, it's been electric stuff from the Cardinals.
Herman 0 for 2, popped to short his last time up in the third.
Bluffing there is Carlos Dominguez on the steal attempt, getting back to first. Wouldn't have mattered as it's fouled off into the mesh behind home plate by Herman there. And yeah, you mentioned, the way the Cardinals go about it, and, it does look like Corey Connor will be coming into this game for them when they do come back up in the 6th inning here, as he's continued to throw. On the Barrie side of things, it's Brad Grieveson getting loose down in their pen there. Herman chops one. Going to be a tough play by the shortstop. He waits on it, delivers a strike, and fires across the diamond there. Shortstops have been busy tonight, and they've been good tonight. We are through 5 innings here in Hamilton. It continues to be 3-0 thanks to that man right there in Carlos Dominguez. We'll be back for the 6th inning. It's Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14.
The warrior allowed her to dream and do whatever she wants to do.
Thank you.
I'm Rudy Walls, host of Hamilton's Vital Signs, a show where we talk about the many aspects of community life that make our city vibrant and inclusive, and a show where we talk about the many challenges that we collectively face. If you want to take a look, tune in Tuesdays at 7:30.
Hypothesized, it is Connor Corey coming into the game for the Hamilton Cardinals here. We are through 5 innings, and the difference in this one continues to be Carlos Dominguez 3-run moonshot in the 3rd inning. The Hamilton Cardinals bullpen. First up is Corey Connor.
You can make Connor
Corey.
You could make a case big time that Sorosky, one of the best starts of the year, 1 hit over 5 innings, 6 K, 1 walk.
Corey obviously has come in a couple of big spots in this game. He came in this late season here, came in well in there, pitching very effectively, facing 3 batters, allowing nothing in striking out 2 in his 1 inning of work there. So we'll see if Barrie has a bit of a book on him, but Corey has been incredibly effective as the season's gone on here. You'll see his interesting crouch position to get the sign. He'll rear back and deliver, and that one goes high, bringing the count to 1-1.
Well, not only is Corey going to be important in the postseason, of course, but the next couple of nights, we'll see how much he throws tonight. Games Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to finish the Barrie bullpen as the pitcher throwing, and the Hamilton bullpen, nobody throwing, but lots of interested participants now looking down that left field bullpen.
Well, and I think that's pretty interesting in and of itself, right? Because, obviously going into a game where you have a plan like this, you understand the import of it. You understand if you're a guy in that bullpen, you're going to be used, you'd imagine, at some point this weekend, depending on the game script, but depending on how things go, could be a very different run of relievers and game plan from Luis Bernardo. Good swinging strike from Corey there to bring the count. He's in the CBL, all of them with the Cardinals here. The Manitoba native, 23 years old, will turn 24 after the season's done. That one's high and inside. That's a walk to the first batter of the inning for Barrie, and Corey will have some traffic on the base pass early.
Well, that is one thing you do not want to do, obviously, walk the leadoff hitter. The percentage of times a leadoff walk comes back to score in baseball is incredibly high. It just sets the tone. And now Hernandez.
Yeah, and you certainly don't like walking the leadoff guy wherever it is in the lineup. You really don't like doing it at this point. Obviously, that's the 8-hitter that just got the free pass. 9-hitter Hernandez up now. Ejo, the leadoff man, waiting in the on-deck spot. And obviously, you don't want to put men on base at any time when you have the top of the order coming back around. Probably not the way you'd want to go about it. There's Corey battling back with the first strike of the at-bat on the second pitch.
Well, it's an easy strategy to say just throw strikes.
Pitch is 1.27, so allowing just a little more than a base runner per inning pitch for him. This is the most innings he's pitched in any CBL season. He pitched just 15 last year, 18 in his debut year, while he is up to 22 innings pitched on the season. Is he there? He picks up a strikeout to bounce back after walking the number 8-hitter.
That's a big K there for Corey, no question about it. Got him to chase one. Sets up Ejo coming up for the Baycats now. Ejo's 0 for 2, struck out both in the first and fourth innings against Soroski.
We will see if Corey's able to double play duo for the Cardinals there, and Corey firing one in as a strike that's flared off, and that will bring the count to 0-1. Cardinals lined up pretty standard here. No real shift, slight shift on the infield, but at double play depth. Outfield being played extremely standard. That one's hit to Nickel. He'll have to hurry. Flip to Herman. They fire over to first to Barrero. Makes the catch and beats Ejo, the leadoff man there. And that is a quick inning for Connor Corey and the Hamilton Cardinals. And a good bounce back after walking the first batter of the frame for the first reliever. Luis Bernardo goes to in his pen. Just a great performance by the middle infield duo.
Corey, 6 innings in the book, still just one by the Cardinals so far. On the pitching side, you can see why the Cardinals have the top ERA rank in the CBL, and that's why they're up 3-0 and that 3-run homer. But pitching change now here for Barrie.
Yeah, it is the battle of the bullpens that we've got underway now. This was the man that was warming in the last half inning for them. It is Brad Grieveson for the Barrie Baycats here. He has been doing it a while. The 45-year-old out of Creemore, Ontario there. Somehow just his 6th season in the CBL, but he has been doing it a while. 6'1", 230 pounds is the right-hander that they'll task here. He has been oft-used, not oft-used for the Baycats this season. Our color guys right behind us. Honestly, absolutely loving our time with Cable 14 this year. and it has helped out. And Lauren has been riding shotgun with me all year on camera. She's been doing a great job getting our bullpen shots down the line, and just like everyone here at Cable 14 has done a wonderful job. We thank you for joining us, just like we thank all of them for being alongside us for what has been a wonderful, wonderful season of Cardinals baseball. And I think we hope there is still plenty of that left, but so much of that story is left with what will be told tonight in this game tomorrow.
Do here for Cable 14, Brent, and you said it very well. Delighted to be a part of such a great broadcast. And yes, we're hoping for a long run here yet in Hamilton, and things are looking pretty good for the Cardinals as we go to the bottom of the sixth in a 3-0 Hamilton lead to try to nail down a top 3 spot.
Tyler Duncan flaring one out to left field. That ball is high, not particularly deep, and the left fielder will settle underneath it, and that is a quick out for Duncan. 1 pitch, 1 out here for the new reliever, Brad Grieveson, out of Creemore, Ontario. 6th year in the CBL for the right-hander.
Well, Greason's job, very simply, is to limit the damage here in a 3-0 game. Looks like the runs are going to be tight. I don't want to call it a surprise that the Cardinals have been as effective pitching-wise tonight, but when you look at the starters on this team, no surprise that Hector Yan, Owen Boone are able to provide great pitching. Cardinals bullpen rebounding to have 2 terrific outings in a row, but today, when Soroski's starting, and then depending on the bullpen again, to be in the bottom of the 6th with 1 Barrie hit is pretty impressive.
Truly, truly remarkable stuff, and a good pitching matchup tonight. But I think just the way, and this is no knock on Soroski, but you have a guy who is typically working out of the bullpen going against another team's full-fledged starting pitcher here, and I think you got to tip the cap to Soroski, obviously with the upper hand in terms of what he's done, but winning that pitching matchup thus far and giving the Cardinals every chance in this game. Really can't say enough about the job he did through the 5 innings in this one.
Oh, Soroski's performance massive, not just for tonight, but for the entire weekend, and Hamilton's chances of coming out of here in great shape come Monday when the regular season wraps up and we finally get a look at those playoff matchups.
Now, a lot of baseball ahead before this would happen, and I think Carlos Dominguez would have a case for player of the game, seeing as how he hit the 3-run homer that has the Cardinals with the lead, but Soroski is the Gatorade guy in terms of the dump, and Brown strikes out there to bring up the 2nd out of the inning. Soroski's the Gatorade, the cold water dump guy. It's like, what do you do when he's the player of the game? I can only imagine how happy somebody would be to get him back. And a long road between here and there, but I'd be lying if that wasn't something percolating in my mind, Raj.
Well, he is a contender. It is based on the performer of the game. They pick the guy they think is the most valuable tonight. And yes, Dominguez, 3 for 3, 2 singles and a 3-run homer. But Soroski's 5 shutout innings of 1 hit ball coming, when he's not usually a starter, that's a performance.
Rainy Reyes hitting the charge into this one, but it'll ultimately die in the night sky and die in the glove of the left fielder. We are through 6 innings here at Burning Arbor Memorial Stadium. Cardinals continue to lead 3-0. Connor Corey was into the game for the Cardinals. We'll see if he comes back out. Of course, always want to thank our friends here. We thank our wonderful crew, and we thank the people that feed them. Little Caesars Pizza, specifically the 280 Queenston Road location. You can't do a broadcast hungry, at least not a good one, and they have done a great job taking care of our crew. Still back here in the ballpark. It is going to be a tense last couple innings here. Obviously, the Cardinals would love to add a little breathing room to it, but it's going to be another pitcher into the game here. It looks like it's going to be Workington coming into the game for the Cardinals. I think now you understand how Luis Bernardo wants to play this out. He did the job, or I should say Caleb Soroski did the job he needed to in terms of the depth that they needed to get out of him, and by being able to push Soroski maybe deeper in the game than they would have initially expected, you do wonder if that allows Bernardo to kind of shorten up the leash on all of the subsequent bullpen arms that we will see in this one. So we saw an inning out of Corey, and now it's Workington coming in, number 26 for the Hamilton Cardinals. The lefty will work following Corey.
Workington also part of that successful bullpen performance in the 2 games in Welland that got Hamilton into the position that they're in, i.e. a chance to still finish in the top 2 spot in the league. He's been effective recently. I think the strategy runs hand in hand too, though, on what you're planning for Saturday and Sunday. And you can't look at a separate game as a separate entity at this point of the season if you're Hamilton. You got to be looking overall. So if I use this guy, can I count on him? And one advantage, again, it's a 48-game season. It's not 162. Most relievers, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn saying this, can give you an inning every game. So if it's going to be that kind of structure, then they could do this all weekend. Starter, give you a 5 if you can, and somebody else give you 6, 7, 8, or 9. If somebody can go 2, there's enough pitchers down there. A pretty good role. This bullpen has really been good the last 2.5 games.
Well, and as we know with bullpens, right? Generally speaking, it is a thing that is in flux across all levels of the game, kind of regardless of what league you're watching, you're following, you're playing in. You know, the bullpen, to borrow a R.A. Dickey turn of phrase about his knuckleball, it can be a capricious animal at times, and sometimes it's about kind of rounding into form at the right time. I'm going to talk about rounding. That one is lashed by the catcher, and that's going to get all the way to the fence. Jaden Brown going to have to hustle out there to get it, and that'll be a leadoff double here that Workington Logan is going to have to work around for the Hamilton Cardinals. It's a well-struck ball.
Yeah, McGarry Doyle got all of that one, slapping it into left field for a leadoff double. So for the first time in the ball game, Barrie has a runner at second base. Think about that. We're in the top of the 7th inning, and this is the first time they have had a runner at second base. That's how effective the pitching has been. So Workington is going to have to pitch out of a jam, and now facing the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Fernandez, Rijo, and Michabrota. So some work to do here.
Could you imagine the smile on Bernardo's face if you told him, hey, 6th inning, they're going to have 7th inning, they're going to have a runner in scoring position for the first time? I think he would have ran to sign up for that deal there. We will see how Barrie plays this. Obviously, got to play for more than one run the duration of the game, but you know, obviously, certain teams in this league are not hesitant at all to lean into some small ball, move the runner over, bloop and a blast kind of situation. So it'll be curious to see the way Barrie handles this as well, especially with a new pitcher in the game in Workington.
I think the Baycats got to have a couple of runs here. If they're bunting for a base hit here, Brent.
We do see Reyes in on the corner there. Workington not really checking the runner. Check swing, and the crowd is unhappy about it, but the base umpire saying that he did not go, so it will be a 2-1 count that Logan Workington will work. This is back-to-back Manitoba relievers the Cards are going to. Connor Corey and Workington both out of Manitoba. Roughly the same age as well. Corey just a year younger than Workington is. 2nd year in the league for Workington. This was Corey's 3rd.
Talked about this before, Brent. As we get deeper and deeper into the season, the fans get more and more into games here.
They really do. You know, it goes from, hey, nice night out to, hey, got to win. And the crowd certainly getting engaged with it. And Barrero giving a valiant effort of chase for that one, but that was well out of play in terms of the way things went.
3-2, 3-1 the count here.
We'll see how they handle this here in terms of Workington. Obviously, you do not want to put the time in an inning this game.
And with nobody out in a 3-run game, we are in a real key portion of this ball game, obviously, as Rijo comes to the plate. He's 1 for 2. Singled back in the 5th inning. Struck out in the 2nd.
So it's Stephen Hospital up and throwing with some intent in the Hamilton pen. So be curious to see how Workington can pitch around the jam he finds himself in. No out, runners on 1st and 2nd, and Rios at the dish.
So last 3 games, Tuesday and Thursday in Welland, and tonight. That's 18 innings plus 6 tonight, 24 innings. Hamilton's bullpen has really been close to perfect. Workington trying to keep that going, but he's got a jam here.
Yes, he does. This is not the part of the order you'd want to have the jam against either, with the cleanup hitter up right now, and then Micah Broda, the first baseman, lurking in the on-deck circle there. Swinging strike brings the count to 1-1. It'll be interesting to see how long the leash is for Bernardo in something like this. Hospital has not been throwing for an overly long time, but obviously this is not a situation have it. And as we've talked about with the pen, that can happen on any given day. Certainly not an excuse by any means, but it will be curious to see how Bernardo handles this. 2 balls, 1 strike to the cleanup hitter here. Workington getting his sign. Comes the delivery. That one is hit hard right on a line. It's Mike Cabrota up to the plate.
Shows you the importance of just, no matter how hard you hit the ball, it's where you hit the ball. And that looked nasty coming off the bat.
Yeah, really couldn't have been hit any more squarely as Carlos Dominguez there. He's had some very important plays where he's had to back. And that's a elevated pitch that Mike
Cabrota 0 for 2, flied out to left last time up.
Healthy leads, although Nickel is checking the runner at second there. Workington picking up a strike on the outside, and after a rocky start to the inning, Workington may be settling into his own here.
Had trouble finding the strike zone coming in, first couple of hitters. That's been rectified, 0-2 count.
Certainly has been. See how much in the zone he is with this.
And that throw in the nick of time, perfect throw. Lead runner did go to third, but now 2 out with a 1-2 count.
Yeah, very, very different at bat all of a sudden here. Now Mike Cabrota trailing. That one's hit hard and deep to left field. Going to get down in fair territory there. Unable to pick it up. The throw does come in. Mike Cabrota making his way into second, and he'll be able to stand up with a double. And the Barrie Baycats are on the board for the first time tonight, thanks to a stand-up double from Mike Cabrota driving in their first run. And we see Luis Bernardo coming out to the mound for the Cardinals here.
Scored from second base, but would have scored, you would think, from second base. And the Cardinals going to the bullpen yet again. And here we are in the middle of this long stretch of games. They're depending on the bullpen, and it's been pretty good, but Workington gives up a run here, and the Baycats back within 2.
Yeah, not the outing he would have liked there in terms of the way it played out. And here's the hit that ended Logan Workington's night. We see it there. That one is just kind of swatted out there in so much room. Guerrero playing way, way over, obviously, with the lefty up at the dish there. You really play him to pull, and he does no such thing. As I mentioned, it was Hospital warming in the pen. The Oakville native, 26 years old, his 3rd year in the CBL. All of them coming with Hamilton. He does have a couple of saves on the year in his 16 1/3 innings of work.
So we'll see if this great bullpen works, continues to work for Hamilton for sure. Checking the CBL out-of-town scoreboard, the Brantford Red Sox continue to lead London. Top of the 7th at Labatt Park. Brantford leading 7-3, 2 outs in that top of the 7th inning. A 5-run 5th. The big blow there for Brantford, who have played some really good baseball down and are giving London everything they can handle tonight. And of course, the significance of that game is London loses. London will be down to 1 game to play in the regular season, and the 1 game to play will be at home against Welland on Sunday that they're trailing in 9-2 in the 5th inning. So kind of opens the door a little bit for Hamilton, but here we go on the caught stealing.
Wonderful, wonderful hose by McGill there. You know, I was doing my homework. You know, being a resident of the Burlington area here, Evan McGill playing a lot of baseball there. I did my homework on him, talked to some people he played with, and that was the one thing I heard of. You know, different levels. You never know how the offense is going to carry. He has got a gun behind the plate, and boy, oh boy, he was showing it off tonight. It was something, you know, started a little slow there in terms of being able to control the running game, but man, oh man, he has just got more and more comfortable as this season has gone along behind the dish, not just in terms of the way he works with the pitchers on the staff, but also in terms of commanding it there, not fazed by the runner going to third. Wouldn't have had a chance to make the throw there, so really, really nice job by McGill. We'll see if Hospital can get out of this inning. There is a runner on second. There's what would be the tying run at the dish right now, and it is the 4th pitcher of the game in for the Cardinals here. It is the righty Stephen Hospital. Very lanky, lot of limbs coming at you with this delivery. Here's Hospital, quick check on second, delivering the pitch, and McGill, great job of sliding over to keep that one in front of him. Obviously of great import with the runner on second.
Hospital has had his challenges this year, has had some rough outings. They're still really counting on him as a high leverage guy, and he wouldn't be in there if he wasn't a high leverage guy in this one. 3-1, top of the 7th inning, and a 2-0 count.
A swing and a miss there. Good job of bouncing back, picking up the first strike. Certainly has had his struggles late, but maybe righting the ship. Did give up a couple of hits in his last outing, but the last 3 outings, each of them has been an inning, and each of them has been scoreless, giving up 2, 1, and 0 hits, respectively, in those games. So maybe Hospital his glove into his left armpit there, getting ready for the sign. Sets the glove rather low. Here comes the righty delivering. Freezes him on the outside. Talk about a way to get out of a jam there. Barrie scratches one across, but Hospital strands a runner on second with a punch out looking. And Stephen Hospital and the Cardinals are out of a jam, and we will now head to the bottom of 7 while the Cardinals will look to get back the run they gave up in that inning. That's a great pitch to finish an outing, or an inning, I should say, from Stephen Hospital.
Yes, froze him nicely, and a tremendous pitch by Hospital ends the inning. A close call. But Barrie does manage to sneak one by. Big play was that caught stealing at second base that prevented an extra run for a huge win here after 2 big wins on the road against Welland. Tomorrow night in Guelph, that game may determine 4th or 5th place. Although Barrie losing tonight will finish Barrie's chances of moving up in the standings, and the Baycats will finish 5th for sure in the standings.
And it is Brad Grieveson continuing to hander. It's his 6th year in the CBL. This is the 2nd time this year he has seen Hamilton. The last time he was very effective, going 2 shutout innings, allowing just 2 hits while striking out 1, facing 7 batters in that game. That was all the way back July 4th, so a lot has changed between now and then. But the one time Hamilton has seen Grieveson this year, he's been very effective against them.
They'll need him to shut it down here for sure as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Cardinals will send the 7, 8, and 9 hitters up in Barrero and McGill. His lineup has been so balanced this year. There's weapons throughout it. Nobody dominates this lineup like a traditional number 1 hitter or top hitter. I mean, Dominguez is. They have their guys with high averages, but they're getting contributions throughout the lineup. And you really notice it when you see the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters come up, who are pretty good hitters.
Yeah, you certainly do see that here. This is CBL Venezuela, again, turning 23, but that's not till after the season is over. Listed at 6'6", 235 here. We do have a wrestling promotion in the building, and I wonder if they're looking at him with goo-goo eyes, although the Cardinals say he's busy. He's picking up base hits to start innings. Barrero takes his little turn around first after shooting that one into shallow left field, and the Cardinals got a base runner in the bottom of 7.
That makes Barrero 1 for 3. He reached on an error back in the 4th inning and grounded out in the 2nd. Evan McGill coming up, who showed his great arm on that caught stealing in the last inning. He's 0 for 2, grounded into a line-out kind of double play. His last time up in the 4th, struck out in the 3rd.
Here is McGill. Again, Barrero on first. And that one is fouled back into the cage by McGill. First year in the CBL for him. Last 3, going 0 for 12 combined in those, so you know he would love to get right here, and what better time than in this bottom of 7. Hung something off speed a little bit there, but unable to make the swing he wanted on it was McGill, and that one is fouled back, bringing the count to 0-2.
Can't say enough about this crowd as the season goes on. First, left field bleachers really filled up tonight, but you really notice the energy and how much they're into this game baseball-wise. They've always enjoyed the event here, Brent, but they are really starting to get into this Cardinals team, and why not? Winning will do that to you.
No, it certainly will. I mean, there's wrestlers wandering around the building, and not that people aren't. And why wouldn't you be with the import that this game has? And, you know, I think it's a really good point. The crowds have built and the intensity within them has as the season's gone along. You know, who doesn't love going on a magic carpet ride with their baseball team? And McGill swinging over the top of that one. Barrero not with the best of jumps, but he's able to get in there. That's what happens when you got all those limbs to sneak in there, and he does.
Yeah, McGill swinging through that pitch maybe just made it that much more difficult for the catcher to come up and make a good throw in there. And Barrero using that big body, as you said, to slide just ahead of the tag. So 1 out, runner at second, and Veilleux up. He had a double and scored a run back in the third.
Yeah, that one was a flare shoot at the dish. Taking strike one there. That brings the count to 1-1 on the Cardinals DH tonight. One out in the frame. It is Evan McGill who struck out earlier in the inning here, but Cardinals still in a good spot to do a little bit of damage. Leadoff man Nickel lurking in the on-deck circle. Barrero on second. Veilleux at the dish. Quick check on Barrero. That one's tapped back up the middle. Barrero breaking back to that. You do wonder if there's a types of caught up on that ball. Basically hit right at him, Raj.
Well, he was worried there that the second baseman or the shortstop would get that ball, either getting him in a rundown or tagging him. So he did move back, as it didn't look like at first the ball was going to get through. But as you can see, the bouncing ball was going to get through, and his returning to second might have cost him the base. He's not the fleetest of foot out there for sure. So just as well he stops at third, but runners on the corner and one out.
Yeah, runners on the corner and one out, and who better to have at the dish? Well, I don't know, maybe Carlos Dominguez, but he's sitting there in the on-deck circle. Nickel up at the dish now. This has been one of, if not the most trusted batters for Hamilton this season. Again, Luis Bernardo at various times, he has come out and put him in the cleanup spot, and we will see a pinch runner here coming in for the Cardinals. It is Nickel the younger, so that's baby brother Trevor running for Jeremy Veilleux, who is the DH tonight. So obviously a lot of options at play for how Bernardo wants to handle that. Veilleux gets a couple of low fives from Dominguez and Herman, and why wouldn't he? Job well done tonight, but he is lifted for the pinch runner in Nickel. So you got Nickel at the dish, you got Nickel at first, and you got Barrero at third for the Cardinals.
Unusual they'd put the runner in with a pitch already to the batter there, but not a surprise.
Nope. Can understand the way this one shook out. Righty on righty here. Nickel watching that one low in the dirt. Brings the count to 2-0. Now a little bit of change for Barrie. McGarry Doyle is out of the game. He's been placed by Carson Barker. Barker is now at third, while Cyprian is moving over to left field for Barrie in terms of the way they're lining it up. So some defensive changes there. Here comes Greason with the pitch, looking for the first strike of the at-bat. Will not find it. That one's way outside. Good job by the catcher being able to keep that one in front of him. As you mentioned, maybe not the fleetest of foot of Barrero at third, but you do not want to play with fire with all the foul room that's around the perimeter in this ballpark here. 3-0. You'd have to imagine the take is on for Nickel, but you also may not see a better pitch in the AB than the one you're about to get. Nickel taking all the way and smartly doing so. That will load the bases with a 4-pitch walk to Brandon Nickel, and now all of a sudden you got Nickel, and Barrero on the bases, and Carlos Dominguez, the guy who's been the hero so far tonight, coming up to the dish. Kind of exactly the way you would, not kind of, exactly the way you would draw it up if you're the Cardinals here.
So Nickel now 2 for 3 on the night, 2 singles, runs scored, and a walk. A big night for him, but nothing compared to Carlos Dominguez, who is 3 for 3, singled in the first, 3-run homer and a moonshot in the third, singled again in the fifth, trying to keep the perfect night going. The top 2 hitters in the Hamilton lineup so far, 5 for 6 with a walk tonight.
If you're going to have a starter go 5 scoreless, and you're going to have the top of your line, starts this one by watching strike one. Greason checking on Barrero at third. Dominguez watching one outside. That brings the count to 1-1. You want to talk about hinge points in a ball game, Raj? This is as big as they get here. Cardinals obviously leading, but they would love to give themselves some breathing room down the stretch here, much like Dominguez would love to help out with it. Greason again collecting himself. Here comes the pitch. Dominguez hits that one hard right at the shortstop. They're going to look to turn 2. Dominguez runs well. Is he able to get there in time? He is. That'll allow Barrero to score the run. Nickel is out at second, but the Cardinals are still alive in this inning. They got 2 outs and they got runners on the corner, and more importantly, they got another run coming across the dish thanks to a strong piece of hitting. Maybe not exactly what he wanted, but that ball was scorched at the shortstop from Carlos Dominguez.
Well, Dominguez may be fortunate there, frankly, Brent, that wasn't a double play ball. The throw from the second baseman was a little low in the dirt. You never assume a double play, of course, so he'll reach on a fielder's choice.
Wait a second. You want to talk about how they draw it up? That is decidedly not it. but Dominguez making his way to second base. I was just talking with our scorer, Mike, and our in-arena PA man here, Sean, earlier in the game. The strangest play I've seen was a guy stopping, had a stolen base, and turning back to first. And now we have a very similar version of that play with Dominguez, and there's going to be a discussion about it here, Raj.
Well, you know, what I don't understand about Dominguez, he had the base stolen. The catcher did not throw down to second because of the circumstances of the play. The runners are at first and third. He's not going to throw to second, which would allow the runner potentially to come in from third with the run. You figure you're going to take a chance with the bat as a result of the play, but just strange play.
Extremely strange there, but all in all, Hamilton probably happy with the way it shook out because, man, Dominguez, if they want to throw that when he's standing there completely flat-footed between first and second, he is dead to rights, but all of a sudden makes his way to second, and we'll see if the Cardinals can take advantage of that. 2 outs, Darlin Herman up at the dish. It's Dominguez on second, and it is Nickel at third.
You just wonder if he just wasn't cognizant of the situation in that case, Brent, because I don't know when it's ever a good time to just stop.
Generally never. I'm sitting here racking my brain trying to think of it, and I can't, quite frankly. So we'll see how this ends up shaking out. That brings the second strike of the at-bat on Herman as he fouls that one straight back. And, man, it's been a weird inning. It's been a yo-yo inning. 1 run has come across for the Cardinals here. It was Dario Barrero on the Carlos Dominguez. That one's way outside. Take by Herman.
Boy, a base hit by Herman, especially with Dominguez's speed at second, would really blow this game open for the Cardinals. Now up 4-1, bottom of the 7th inning. And Dominguez with all 4 RBIs tonight for the Cardinals.
Yeah, he has been. He really has been tremendous tonight. Obviously, the highlight of the bunch is going to be that moonshot that he hit, and Herman does not like that one, but he's frozen on the outside. Griefson gets the call, and we are through 7 here at Barrie Arbor Memorial Stadium. The Cardinals get one back after giving one up in the top of 7. We are through 7 here. Cardinals leading 4-1. We'll be back on Cable 14.
Hey, you gonna do it? Just beer spray. Relax.
Bear spray is designed to stop a 400-pound animal. On a person, it can cause intense burning, temporary blindness, breathing distress, and panic. Using it, it's not a prank. It's assault. An assault means charges, criminal record, consequences that just don't disappear. Know someone carrying bear spray? Don't want to tell your parents? Don't want to tell your teacher? And you definitely don't want to call police? Fear not. There's a solution. Crime Stoppers. 1-800-222-TIPS. 100% anonymous. No caller ID, no court. No one will ever know it was you.
Get ready to blast the past with Retro Game Time. Watch as gamers from around Hamilton battle it out in the ultimate retro gaming showdown. Who will outplay, outlast, and be crowned the ultimate Retro Game Time champion? Plus, don't miss our thrilling Top 10 in each episode where we rank the unforgettable highlights and hidden gems of the gaming world. Tune in, level up, and catch Retro Game Time on Cable 14.
Welcome back in here to Barrie Arbor Memorial Stadium. As I've mentioned, fireworks on the diamond. Fireworks, well, technically on the diamond. I just watched a dude jump off the top of a dugout, and then 3 people won a wrestling match. It's an electric factory here. We've also got a pretty intense baseball game going on right now, where Stephen Hospital will continue to work for the Cardinals. Now, Rod, didn't come to fruition there. I wonder how you feel about this. If Herman was able to come up with the big hit here, do you think it changes the way Luis Bernardo handles the bullpen the rest of the way with a 4 or 5 run lead as opposed to the 3-run lead he's got now?
Great question. I think it does. There's no question. And I mentioned earlier, you're just not managing today's game, you're managing tomorrow's. And as much as, hey, listen, the door's still open for maybe Hamilton to pull off a miracle and finish first or second, but tomorrow's game against Guelph is crucial. So you cannot burn your entire bullpen tonight. You've used Yan already this week. You've used Boone already this week. Yeah, absolutely. You get a lead. Maybe you think, all right, 5-run lead, maybe I can, go with it. But I still think the way Hospital has been pitching, Brent, he might be the guy to close this out tonight for them.
Yeah, very well could be. I mean, he gets into a groove. They would love to limit the amount of arms they have to use, and did not get in a groove to start things off, throwing a couple of balls to start the inning, but there's the first strike. Now, Danny Garcia has been up and warming for a while, so it does seem like he will be next up if they do have to go to another arm here. But to your point, Raj, with just 6 outs left to go, I guarantee you Luis Bernardo, and quite frankly, I'm sure Stephen Hospital would love nothing more than to have him pick up as many of those as possible.
Well, and generally speaking, you have a pecking order. You want your high leverage guys to throw as hard as they can, and you don't want to use relievers for more than an inning or two. That's the style in baseball. But I go back again. This is the CBL. This is near the end of the season. If there was a time to go with the hot guy, it's now.
Yeah, certainly would be. And then you mentioned the dance of how you handle the pen here, the idea of, okay, you got to manage not just for this, but for tomorrow as well. And who knows, could very well be a bunch to play for on Sunday as well. But, if you only ask one inning of Hospital, can you have him tomorrow as well, as opposed to if he goes the route here the rest of the way? It'll be curious to see how this all shakes out. And, always big questions of how a manager handles this. And Stephen Hospital making it a little easier, freezing him on the inside corner there. That is an excellent job by Stephen Hospital, working back, and he gets the beer batter Noah Hull looking there.
Well, and here's the thing too to remember, Brent. Hospital did not pitch in the games in Welland, so he's relatively fresh, so he can go a little bit deeper. Again, we're deep into the season, and tomorrow will mark 3 games in 3 days for the Cardinals, and really important, very important wins. The more you can have an extra arm or two fresh for tomorrow night, the better.
Yeah, Hospital has not worked nearly a week. His last in action on Sunday. That came pitching just 1 inning against the Leafs, and before that, it had been a while since he worked. So really, going back to the 18th, which is basically a week and a half ago, he's just pitched twice here. So one of the more fresh arms in the Hamilton pen, and they've been using the pen here a lot. Hospital working ahead and picking up another strike. Talk about finding that groove. He may be doing exactly that here as he picks up a couple of quick strikes.
Reemergence of quality bullpen here.
Yeah, you got to have it. Hospital throwing something off speed there, and that is fouled back into the mesh behind the backstop there. We'll do it all again at 0-2.
I think anyone who observes the Cardinals for any length of time would say really good team, vastly improved over last year, good all around, but suspect back of the bullpen. Last 2.5 games, if you include this game as a half.
So that one drifting just outside. Hospital very, very close to getting out of this at bat there.
That painted, it looked like,
really
the outside corner, but maybe a little low in the umpire's mind. 1-2.
Yeah. Hospital delivering that. Fouled. We'll stay alive here. Good job of staying alive and fighting that one off here. Uncomfortable swing, but got a little bat on the ball, and they'll get to do it again at 1-2.
And from Barrie's perspective, it has been a rocky second half. They were battling for first place for a good portion of the season, still with an excellent 26-20 record, don't get me wrong. But down the stretch, Brantford played really well. Never threatened Barrie for that 5th playoff spot. The top 5 teams have been the top 5 teams all year, but they lose tonight. I think
all of these things, but also the home gate. You'd certainly love to get a chance to have at least one more home date. And hey, you win a game and you're able to do that. But nothing is guaranteed if you finish in that 5 spot. Here is Hospital trying to finish this at bat off. It's proved difficult for him, and that one looking to paint the exact same time. That one looked a little high, quite frankly, and goes to 2-2 here for Hospital. But Raj, to your point about the crowd.
A lot of umpires in the fans.
A lot. And I don't see anybody dressed up as any. Sometimes you'll see that bit, but boy, oh boy, are they ready to jump in if need be. A lot of people calling balls and strikes in front of us here tonight, not just the man behind the dish. How about that one? Hospital, another strikeout looking, and he has picked up a couple of Ks in this inning. Hospital really just cruising along here for the Cardinals.
3 batters he's faced, 3 strikeouts, all of them looking. So, yes, impressive indeed for Hospital. And the Cardinals bullpen here, not a surprise. I thought they might finish with Hospital, but end of the day, you have to have a ready pitcher at the first sign of trouble here. Remember, tonight's game nails down a home field game, at least one for the Cardinals.
Hospital going back to the well. Man, oh man, he loves. What is the part of the plate closest to the left-handed batter's box? He's feeling good about it tonight. This is Brandon Daly. He came into the game for Brandon Hernandez. He is playing second base now. So Kitchener using their bench a little bit, or sorry, Barrie using their bench a little bit here. Nearly a great play by a fan. And then it was a great play made on the hop there. Okay, so somebody's misplay allowed somebody to make a great one out there. And anytime you can get that big a hand for the crowd, you know somebody had to make a special play. I was here a couple Fridays ago, and I saw a guy make a wonderful pick, like bare hand over the rail down the left field line. Love, love, love seeing people make great plays in the crowd.
See if he's available. If he's interested in signing with this club at some point. He's another infielder.
I will say, the gentleman that made the play, we did get if they can find him, if they need him. But, yeah, Cardinals certainly look like they have a capable one here in Stephen Hospital, trying to once again finish off this at-bat. Flared off. That's going to bring it to 1-2, and Hospital trying to get out of this inning unscathed here.
Well, we say it all the time. Throw strikes, and that's what Hospital's doing. He's been ahead on the count on every hitter he's had. The Baycats have battled. There's been some painting that plate.
Just like he does there, there's another strike three, another one looking. 1, 2, 3, all of them struck out looking to finish the inning and send him to the hospital as Steven is walking off the mound, feeling pretty good about himself here. We are now headed to the bottom. There's Connor Corey coming out of the dugout to dap up Hospital, and you can really feel the team trying to pick one another up here. Cardinals getting some great pitching tonight, not just from Sorosky, but also Hospital really finding his footing as that outing has gone on for him.
So on the CBL out-of-town scoreboard, London put a 2-spot up in the bottom of the 7th at Labatt Park, get a little closer, but it is still 7-5. Top of the 8th inning at Labatt Park. I mentioned Brantford has been one of the league's hottest clubs coming down the stretch. They've been playing some good baseball. And again, the significance of that game, if the London Majors do come back and win, the London Majors will clinch the first season CBL pennant. They just need one more win in their last 2 games to do that. They only have 2 games left, though, one after tonight, obviously. And as we've mentioned multiple times, that game is Sunday at home against Welland, and they are trailing, not have the tiebreaker against Welland, so Welland can't catch London, but Hamilton could, winning their last 3 games and London losing their last 2. That's a lot to ask, but it's still alive and remains alive because Brantford leading 7-5 that game in the top of the 8th. Kitchener won the first game over Toronto tonight at Dominico Field at 7-3. No word on the status of game 2. You can get all these stats, scores, and highlights on the league at cbl.ca.
Coming into the game now for Barrie, another pitcher here. It is Braden Pakala, number 45, the 6'2" left-hander, weighing in at 190 pounds. Third year in the around the corner, and he is a native of Sudbury, Ontario. As I mentioned, third year in the league. This is somebody Barrie has gone to often. This year he has made 1 start in the 21 prior appearances this year for him. He has 33 and 2/3 innings pitched there, carrying a ability to get on bases there for opposing hitters, but the ability to strike them out is certainly there for Pakala. So we'll see how this goes as the outing goes for him. It is Tyler Duncan leading it off for the Cards in this inning.
And Duncan on the evening, 1 for 3, had a single in the 3rd inning. Amazing, Brente, how many times season goes back and forth. Hamilton was on that, 6-game win streak. They had an 11-game home winning streak, and then they hit a real snag just like a week and a half ago. 3 losses. And looked to be a little discouraged. Things are getting a little shaky, moving down in the standings. They go into Welland, they win 2 games, and all of a sudden you're right back in the mix, and maybe you got a shot at first place, and everybody's feeling great again.
Yeah, good week in Welland. A lot of people would like that. Duncan flaring one out to left. Looked like it had a little carry on it. He retired. There is the first out of the inning for the Cardinals, and that brings Angel Guerrero up to the plate.
Guerrero in the game for Jaden Brown.
Pitch hitter number 89, Angel Guerrero.
Came in a couple of innings ago as a Brown out there in left field. Now he has had an up and down time with the Cardinals here this year. He has been on the team. He has been off of the active roster, but still around the team, even coaching first base at times. And lo and behold, here he is back on the active roster into the game for the
player to insert.
22-year-old out of the DR. It's his first year in the CBL. Is it for Guerrero here? This will be the 28th game he has appeared in for the Cardinals there, carrying an average of 289 and a slug of 500 on the season.
And you see a useful guy like that cannot have enough depth. You can never have enough pitching, we know that. But you can never have enough depth, period.
No, especially the way Bernardo goes about it. Catcher really holding that one, framing it there, able to pick up the strike. Late call from the umpire, and the crowd didn't like it. I don't even know if they're disagreeing with the call. They're just like, hurry up, make it sooner. Let me come. Guerrero, one out already with Duncan flying out to left field. That was a big-time cut from Guerrero there. He was not getting cheated on that swing, but he will head back to the dugout. It's the first strikeout of the inning for Pacala, and the second Cardinal retired.
Looking ahead to the top of the ninth, top of the order coming up for the Baycats, as they will have to pull out all stops here or wind up fifth in the CBL standings.
Yeah, I was trying to do some body language reading in terms of Stephen Hospital coming off the mound. I did not see a definitive like, hey, you're done hug. Now, we have talked about a ball cannot get up here.
That was
straight
close.
Off the bat. That's as close as we're going to get. Well, we did have one earlier this year bounce in front of, and then I made a play on it and tossed it to a child because I'm just that kind of guy. We did have one like that, but it really feels like the physics are impossible to get one on the fly in here. That's as close as we're going to get from.
And that one went off the mesh. It's just the way it came off the mesh actually needed the bounce, so you're right about that.
Reyes flaring that one out, this time to right field. It's going to be a long run for the right fielder with all that foul territory over there. He gets to go say hello to his friends in the bullpen. Ultimately, long run for a strike on Rainey. We do have a shot of the Hamilton pen there in terms of who it is up. I believe that is Danny Garcia there. And normally the teal glove giveaway, Frazee Sadama is doing an exceptional job of hiding that glove from me, so I cannot definitively say, but I'm pretty certain that is Danny Garcia down there getting ready to warm. Now that leads to the conversation I was going to have with you, Rod.
It's at 4-1. That's obviously different than, Homer 5-1, 6-1, your level of trust and confidence. I got to believe Bernardo has a game plan set up for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I know he does. It's game against Guelph. That's really the must win. And if he feels an inning from extra guys from to stick with a regular one inning at a time rotation out of the pen, doesn't tire your bullpen, that's what he's going to do. But he is definitely bringing Garcia into the game.
Yeah, he certainly is. And Garcia, that's not news to him. He was ready to strut out there, get a quick one. Now, as we've talked about, bullpen been a bit of a bugaboo down the stretch for this team.
But the performances in Welland, which were terrific by the bullpen in 2 consecutive games, and now add tonight's just 1 earned run the bullpen has allowed in the last 3 games. 2 of them against Welland on the road, and here against a very good Barrie team. So it's not bottom feeder teams in the league. They've been meeting the last couple of nights. They're playing some of the better teams in the league, and the Achilles heel, the weakness of this team, Brent, for most of the season, was the back end of the bullpen. They gave away, squandered a lot of big leads, even here in Hamilton, where they've been very good, 16-6. Coming into tonight's game, they were still, does have a little bit of a cushion with a 4-1 lead, but a definite save situation, and it doesn't get any more high leverage than when you have a chance to send a team packing from getting into that home field advantage for the wild card team. Win tonight, the worst Hamilton can finish is 4th, and they are still very much alive to finish either first or second.
Yeah,
Never mind third.
Very, very much so. Danny Garcia into the game here, looking for his 7th career CBL save. 5 of those coming a year ago with Kitchener, 1 coming this year in Hamilton. This will be the 15th time this season the Cardinals have turned to number 5. Scoreless inning, striking out 2, allowing just 1 hit in that game against Welland there. Very, very impressive stuff for Garcia. He is last time out against Barrie, he actually went 2 scoreless, hitless innings, allowing just a walk. That came on July 31st. So he's had some success against the Baycats this year. Wonder if that plays into the decision as well for Bernardo in this spot.
May very well. Matchups are always a big part of it, and I wouldn't be concerned about the fact he only has 1 save. Differential was ridiculous, so now we're seeing what they're made of.
Certainly are. Good way to start there, picking up the strikeout. We mentioned the strikeout stuff is there for Garcia, and he picks up a swinging strike for his first out of the frame here, and the Cardinals are 2 outs away from locking Barrie into that 5th spot. This is Carson Barker, who came into the game earlier on in this one. He was a replacement.
Just doing what great relievers do late in games, getting ahead in the count, throwing strikes.
We see that one is flicked. Outs, and there's 2 of them, just 1 out away from finishing this ball game off, are the Cardinals.
Great pitch again, tied the hitter up, just fouled it off, and quite often we see that incredible big foul territory on both sides of this ballpark, Brent. There it paid off because Reyes tracked that ball right away, made the catch, and the Hamilton Cardinals are 1 out from home field advantage in the playoffs against somebody.
Garcia delivering the pitch. That one's a little high, a little outside. And he'll start with ball 1. Here comes Garcia. Count to 2-1 here. This is where pitch economy doesn't matter so much, doesn't matter how it happens. You just want to get this ball game over with. If you're the Cardinals here, and you'd love Garcia to be able to do that. Throwing a pitch, but that's low in the dirt. McGill gonna grab it, throw it back to Garcia, finding himself in a 3-1 hole here.
Well, and you never know when Barrie can come back. Reggio on deck, 1 for 3. Barrie will not go down easily. Man, the crowd is making a difference here, cheering on Garcia.
Really is 3-1. The run at the plate can't hurt you, but in theory, the run on deck is the one you are worried about here. But if you take care of the business in front of you, you don't have to worry about either of those. So Garcia had a little breathing room here. He will use a little bit of it with the walk, and that brings up the cleanup hitter, Reggio, as you mentioned, Raj.
Singled in the 5th in his 3 trips. Micabroda on deck. He had the RBI double to score Barrie's lone run back in the 7th.
That one is sliced up the middle. That'll allow the runner to advance, and that now the Cats I don't think are going to make a point of running into any outs here, but obviously you want a little speed on the base pass if you could use it. Luis Bernardo coming in, giving a little pep talk to his team as all the infielders, or I shouldn't say all the infielders, a couple of the infielders come in to hear the conversation with Bernardo. That's Barrero and Reyes coming in, the middle infield duo of Herman and Nickel hanging back there. Of course, Evan McGill, he's a catcher, he's got to get in there.
That's a good move to bring in the pinch runner. Some people might suggest, well, why in this situation? But a little extra speed on a ground ball to second, maybe going around from going to.
Yeah, very, very much so. And we now see it as Micah Broda up to the dish here. He's looking to play the role of, well, I mean, I guess he can't quite be hero, but oh boy, could he be spoiler. And that is absolutely what he's looking to do. That one is flared off to the left side. Reyes giving a look at it, but that's going to be well out of play. That's also called strike 1, which is how Danny Garcia would choose to look at it here.
So the Cardinals bullpen is active, tossing around the ball, but it's clearly Garcia's opportunity to shut this game down. Got the first 2 hitters easily. Let's see what he does here. 0-1 count.
0-1 count. Here comes a pitch from Garcia. Looking to go on the outside, just missing there. That brings the count to 1-1. And man, it's crazy how a couple of at-bats can change the tenor of a ball game here. You know, it felt like the Cardinals were very much in control. Felt like Garcia was very much cruising, and all of a sudden, tying run is at the plate here in the top of 9. Barrie need this one to keep their hopes of not finishing 5th alive. That one outside again from Garcia brings a count to 2-1.
Well, I said Barrie would not go down easily, and they are not. This is a good at-bat. Micah Broda here just being patient, making Garcia throw a strike, and now he's got a hitter's count here, 2-1.
27-year-old had a birthday earlier this month, August 5th. And Micah Broda slashes that one through the hole. That'll allow one run to at least come to the plate, but Guerrero coming up throwing. The throw is offline. McGill doing a good job of stopping it from going anywhere else. And the Baycats scratch one across, and all of a sudden, runners on first, runner on second, and the
Cyprian steps in for Barrie, 0 for 3 on the night.
We got to look at the throw here from Guerrero. I know offline, but man, if he gets the aim straightened out on that, that's a big arm from Guerrero there. So something to watch and keep an eye on. Now, speaking of keeping an eye on, the Cardinals do not want to have to walk down this path, but Frazee Saddam is up and throwing with quite a level of intent down there in the pen. So, with 1 strike and 2 outs here, you would love to get out of this. Darlin Herman really keeping tabs on the runner at second there, because he is taking a monstrous lead. Now, again, run at second does not hurt you. Run at first does, and the one at the plate really does. Garcia, 1-1 here, 2 outs in the top of 9. Barrie needing this win to keep themselves out with a hope of finishing out of the 5th spot here. That one is hit high, but not quite deep. Guerrero giving chase, and he drops the ball. They are calling it a foul ball.
Foul ball.
That should have been the ball game. Guerrero unable to make the play, and Barrie gets another lease on life here. That is right on the line. I'll give credit to the home plate umpire. He was right down the line, standing right on it, doing everything he could in his power to be on the right spot. Seems to be the right call from our vantage point up here, but man, oh man, that is one Guerrero will want to have back.
No doubt about it, and he had to run a long way. It was a degree of difficulty to that play, and got there and just couldn't squeeze it. So tough situation there. And talk about a second life. Celebration was all set to get keyed here. Got there in time and just could not squeeze the ball. Count 1-2.
Okay, so the good news is it is a strike, and we're 1 strike away from the Cardinals getting out of this, but he's got to find the pitch. It is Cyprian up at the dish, runners on first and third. Danny Garcia looking to close it out for the Cardinals. Here comes the pitch from Garcia. Chop back up the middle to him. He will walk it over to first base. Little flip to Dario Barrero, and the Cardinals close it out. A little scarier, a little tighter than they wanted, but the Cardinals supplant Barrie's as the 5th place team in the CBL, and their hopes of plenty of home dates are alive and well if you're the Cardinals after Danny Garcia. Wasn't always the easiest, but he gets the job done in the top of 9. 4-2 is the final here at Barrie Arbor Memorial Stadium.
What a massive win for the Hamilton Cardinals. As you mentioned, Brett, that drops Barrie to 26-21. They have 1 game left in the season, so they are now firmly the number 5 team. They will play in the playoffs. They already had that clinched, but they will be on the road for the wild card game. Temporarily deadlocked with Welland for 2nd place. Both teams 2 games back of London and a half game ahead of Guelph, setting the stage for another aren't these all massive games? Tomorrow night against Guelph, winner of that game will solidify themselves as at least a 3rd place team. And in the case of Hamilton, 1st place, not out of question quite yet either. But first things first, Hamilton will play a home playoff game right here at Barrie Arbor Memorial Stadium. Will it be a wild card or will it be the next round? That's still to be determined, but what a great night for the Cardinals. A nice, tight, defensive, well-played game, and a 4-2 win, and Sorosky's really getting the Gatorade shower now.
Yeah, I was early on this. You know, you want to have questions ahead of yourself here, and I was wondering, how they're going to handle this. And the way they handle it is every guy in the Hamilton Cardinals, I think organization, got out there to douse Caleb Sorosky. He's got to get rid of the shoes. They are soaked. We're going back. I believe that was Connor Corey coming in with one more here. He's got the player of the game belt, and why wouldn't he feel great? Big hug for Emily, and she has been victim of Caleb's water antics more times than not, so I know she's happy to be on the other side of that. We will talk to Caleb in just a minute. Raj, I wanted to talk about something else we've been keeping tabs on tonight. You mentioned that game, a little scoreboard watching season. London still trailing 7-6 in the bottom of 8 now. London home to Brantford tonight, so obviously that's a massive, massive one that the Cards will be keeping close tabs on, and it is a final here. Just tremendous night of what the Cardinals were able to do. And, you know, being able to have a game like this, having the emotion like that, you shouldn't need to practice for that part, but managing your emotions is such a big part of the postseason ride.
Sure did. Tight defensive game, well-pitched game on both sides. Tough loss for Barrie, but a big win for the Cardinals. And they know now this team is going to at least have one home playoff game, but they've got higher sights than that. Setting the stage now for excitement the next 2 nights, starting tomorrow night in Guelph, and of course then here against Brantford, against the Red Sox in the season finale on Sunday. And that game could have great significance as well, either for first or second place, depending on what happens the rest of the way. So great times. The Cardinals doing the birthday celebration as they do at the end of the game as well. And a great night for the Cardinals. And this franchise is having one heck of a season as they improve to 29-17. The Hamilton Cardinals with 29 wins in a season. Unheard of. The great season continues here in Hamilton.
Yeah, they must all have summer breath now, just like Caleb Sorosky, I imagine, is pretty happy tonight with the way everything went. In terms of, it's okay?
Sure do.
All right, let's just talk about how different it is when you know you're going to start. I'm curious about what you and Luis Bernardo talked about in terms of game plan. Was there a pitch limit? Was there an innings pitch plan, or was it just ride you until you don't have anything left there?
Yeah, no, there was no plan. It was kind of just let me go and see where the game took us, you know. And I was fortunate enough to go 5 solid and help the team to a win.
Caleb, how much of a factor is it the fact that you're playing 4 games in 4 nights in preparation, not just for you, but for all this staff? All these games are so important. You still got an outside shot at first place, never mind second or third, and you got to manage that on an individual basis at the same time. Is the manager talking to you about what you're doing tomorrow and Sunday as well, or is that conversation for tomorrow and Sunday only?
You know, it's kind of for, you know, an after this game and kind of a tomorrow and Sunday ordeal. We're kind of taking it one game at a time, and you know, if we keep doing that, we'll keep being successful.
Caleb, you're a Hamilton kid. We were talking throughout this broadcast about how remarkable the crowds have been. You know, crowds are always good here, but I don't know if you guys feel it on the field, but from up here, it seems like the crowd has almost taken it to another level in terms of being locked in and not just having fun, but really being locked in and invested in what's going on.
Crowd support, you know, the energy from the crowd. You know, Emmy does a good job of getting the crowd, keeping them engaged, and in return, you know, we feel that on the field, so it helps us big time for sure.
So the big question is how you feeling there, young guy? That's a long outing for you and a terrific outing. 1 hit over 5 innings. You a little tired? It's a little long.
No, it was a good outing. You know, the team helped, and you know, I'm glad I was able to go as long as I did and help the team get the win.
Last one, and then we'll let you go. How did it feel to have your teammates collect what I can only imagine is the bounty on you in terms of getting doused with the water? You know, I've talked to Emily. You're always getting her water on you after.
Yeah, it's the only reason we're interviewing you, by the way.
How does it feel to be on the other side of things here?
It feels great. It feels great to be on the receiving end of that, though. Don't worry, Sunday after the win against Brantford, I'll be back for my vengeance. Don't worry. Whoever that player of the game is, and Emmy, they will be
luck the rest of the week.
Congrats, Caleb.
Thank you, guys.
There he goes. See what happens there. There is a lot of baseball left and a lot of important baseball left, not just in the regular season, but beyond that. Thanks so much to everyone on our crew, the wonderful Cable 14 here. It is a winning edition of Cardinals baseball. 4-2 is the final. They'll do it again tomorrow. And Gunning, thanks so much for watching Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14.
Without like the program, there'd be so many more of us that are like, and like especially in my family, there's a lot of that which happens, and so it was like kind of like if I wasn't here, like we all know like what would be happening right now, and so like I'd say thank you for keeping it open, because it gives like kids who have like issues at home and stuff an outlet and a place to be where they feel comfortable and safe.
Whenever a guy does something drastic like moving to another girl. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I had great parents, a great upbringing, but that environment, it was different, man. I lost a lot of friends, friends that were killed, friends that are incarcerated. I have a lot of friends that have never left, like, our neighborhood. When I first got here for an engineering company, and I worked 4 days a week, and I had a 3-day weekend every weekend. So to occupy my time, I would enter road races. One of the races I entered was the Around the Bay race. When I went to pick up my phone number, and I would make them a shirt and give it to them for free. And then when I got up to about $500 worth of free shirts, my girl was like, we can't keep giving these shirts away. If you're gonna make them, you gotta sell them.
Let's give it up for true Hamiltonian, guys.
It got so crazy that my phone's ringing from like 8 in the morning till like midnight, and I'm trying to work, and I was like, I can't do both. And I remember talking to all my family and friends and telling them I wanted to stop working at my job and start doing this, and they all just looked at me like, you want to quit your job to sell t-shirts? And they actually staged an interview. I've fallen more in love with Hamilton. There was this guy I was working with. He took me to a bar, Lion's Head, little local bar, and there was a guy sitting there, and he drove like a garbage truck. He wasn't even part of our group, but he started talking to me. He found a rocking chair on the side of the road, and he took it home and he sanded it down and painted it, and he was gonna give it to his old lady for her birthday. And I just remember thinking, that's the most genuine thing I've ever heard. And I think stories like that is why I love Hamilton. Home is where you feel most comfortable, where you fit in. Like, this is where I belong. I don't know how I ended.
The Frontline returns Friday at 6:30 right here on Cable 14. I'll be sitting down with the chiefs of fire, paramedics, and police, and from time to time, some special guests to educate and inform you of what's going on in our city. Make sure you join us on Cable 14 or cable14.com. Again, Friday at 6:30.
Unbelievable. Everywhere you look, you're reminded of that. It's like a living museum.
La musica va, un'altra estate che ci porterà. Senti il ritmo dentro di te, la notte è giovane, balla con me. Andiamo dove il cuore ci chiama, la nostra notte italiana. Viviamo questa febbre che sale, un'emozione universale.
Let me tell you, everything you hear, see, and smell, this is an amazing place in Sicily. Every time I go to Sicily, I am sure to go to Palermo. It doesn't matter how many times I've been there. It's metropolitan, yes, but it has that charm of an old town, and it just feels so, but not the way fast food is understood here in North America. It's delicious, homemade, and it uses simple ingredients from the region, like la cucina povera. That's the best part of Palermo. If you're a foodie, you gotta go. When you come to Palermo, it's really important to get a good tour guide. Well, we have the best. Her name is Jacqueline Alio. Not only is she a published author, but she is so well respected internationally for all her contributions, especially noting the role of women.
And as a child, we'd come here on summer vacation a few times over.
But you're from where? California, yes.
From Los Angeles. But when we moved here in the late 80s, mid 80s, it was a shock for everybody because Sicily was still a little bit backwards. All of Italy was compared to the US, but Sicily was going through a bad moment with bad local administration, really tough bureaucracy to go through, red tape in all the public offices, and then the mafia too. Things have changed enormously since we've been back.
Some very significant things happened that, you're right, really turned Sicily around.
I lived through them, especially late 80s, 1990s, when a number of judges were murdered by the mafia, and the people of Palermo who, up to that point, tried not to ever say the word mafia in public because they were afraid. They came out into the streets with their families with major protests, angry with the mafia, but also with the Italian government for having left us alone to fight against the mafia.
And so I also understood from your guided visit through Palermo something very wonderful about the Sicilian language and the autonomy of Sicily. Tell me about that.
So Sicilian is a language, in fact, divided up into something like 25 different varieties, not only in Sicily, but we also have a section of Calabria across the Straits of Messina where there's a Sicilian variety being spoken. It's a language. I'm part of a transnational organization called Accademia Siciliana, and we were able to get Sicilian acknowledged as a minority language in the European Union. And now the move this year, because we have a lot of politicians and the Sicilian Parliament interested, is to get Sicilian to become the co-official language with Italian. And I dream of all the street signs in Sicily being written in Sicilian and Italian. It's a language. Sicily is the only former which Spanish never became the official language because we've always had Sicilian.
Wow, well that is certainly something to celebrate. And I just wanted to add that your depth of knowledge is written through your books. Many of them really capture the true essence of the resilience of the people of the di nuovo, and alla prossima.
Prossima,
Ciao.
presto. Bye everybody.
Balero Market is not for the shy and timid and easily overwhelmed. And if you are, I would work on that. And then that way you can fully experience all the benefits of this market. The vendor trying to persuade you to come to his or her stall while the other one is saying, no, leave him alone, come to this one. That chaos is what adds this vibrancy to the experience, not to be missed. It's just so entirely different from bringing your grocery cart. This market is. This is one of the largest open air markets. It's not just a market, it's really a window into everything Sicilian. Every vendor is passionate about what they're selling, and whether it's food or whether it's crafts or something, it just comes to lunch fries here. That's not what they're selling. You could have calamari fritti. You could have lobster. I saw a man, he was cleaning squid. The squid were this big in an open air market. We finally settled on panella, if you've ever had that. It's made with dried chickpea. Heartier, you gotta have a porchetta sandwich here in Balero Market. So delicious, beautifully seasoned, not too garlicky, salty just enough, and that crusty bread. Oh my gosh, I could eat that every single day. Time for something sweet to eat. We asked around, and every days of cannoli, marzipan, babo rum, every single treat that is iconic to Sicilian cuisine. And I have to say, they were delicious. Of course, you're eating it in the middle of a courtyard with these orange trees, added to the ambiance. Certainly well worth. Actually been there 3 times. There's something about the people of Sicily. Their hearts are huge. generous, warm-hearted. Yeah, there might be, a little bit of boldness about them, but that is deeply rooted in their pride for their country, their culture, something to be very proud of. If I'm going to Italy, I'm going to Sicily.
La musica va, un'altra estate che ci porterà. Senti il ritmo dentro di te, la notte è giovane, balla con me. Questa febbre che sale, un'emozione universale.
That keeps you feeling isolated and alone. That makes you feel hopeless. Know this, we're here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous, there is a way out.
Do you spend much of your life feeling stressed, tense, or exhausted? Do you wish you could make friends with your body and increase your strength and flexibility? Yoga is an ancient, science-backed practice that can provide relief from the demands of everyday life. My name is Katie McClelland, and I have Taylor and Sid here with me, and we're going to kick off this episode of Yoga with Katie in a way that's never been done before on the show. At the studio, I incorporate chanting into my yoga classes. I love the utilization of oneself. It's just so cool that we're all born with an instrument that we can hone and cultivate and utilize to not only clear stagnant energy around our own throats, but also to unify a room, to create a sense of community. The aspirational qualities and values that we are looking to embody. So yoga isn't just about stretching and strengthening. There's ethical guidelines that actually form the foundation of yoga practice. And so chanting is one way to remind ourselves that we want to try a steady part of ourselves that is a witness to our life experience and that is rooted in infinite amounts of love for oneself and love for others. So we're going to start with the Gayatri Mantra. This mantra is in the Sanskrit language. This is arguably the first song ever sung by humans. There's many different renditions of it with many different melodies, and we're going to chant a melody that we use in our teacher training class. So this is really a special moment for me and for all three of us. All right, you guys ready? Clear out with an exhale. And breathe in. Om Bhurbhuvasava Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhuvasava Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Vitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayam. And from a seated position, let's lean back into the hands, give the legs a little bit of a shake. That was very brave, you guys. I know that singing in public is it's got to be up there in the top 5 or 10 things that terrify people. Come forward to a kneeling position. Curl your toes under if you're comfortable doing so. And then as you just stretch out the forearms here, just be mindful of how much weight you're putting into the hands. I'll just give you a little heads up that what we're going to be exploring in today's practice is Shirshasana asana or headstand. This is considered to be the king of all asanas. It's actually touted as the aging process. There's no doubt about that because it reverses the flow of blood, triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, and certainly slows our systems down so that we age more slowly. The immortality piece, we'll see. You can turn your hands around here. I have to laugh because when I spent, this is just a thing. Yeah, immortality is promised to everyone. Okay, so give your hands a little shake. Sid, I'm sure you'd have some comments to make on that. Go ahead and take a downward facing dog. And pedal your heels, inhale the breath. Exhale, bend your knees, and then step or hop your feet to the top. Let's do 3 halfway lifts. So inhale, heart forward. Exhale, fold. Yeah, let the head go. Let's do that again. Inhale, find that space. Exhale to bow. Your face. Exhale, pull in the energy that we'll need for today's practice. Okay, so grab your strap and let's do some shoulder flossing because what we'll need for a proficient headstand is shoulders that are not only strong but also mobile. So at a range of motion, feel that stretch through your chest. Take it slowly, don't move too fast. Yeah. Careful, we don't want to get hit in the face with the end of the strap. That's never happened in my 30-year teaching career, so let's not make today that first time. But as we already have our weight on our elbows with only a little bit of weight on the crown of the head, and we'll be able to raise our arms high enough because of this shoulder flossing that our body will stay in a neutral position when we're upside down and our ribs won't flare out too much. Us out of our center, out of our balance. Okay, so that's enough. You can finish with the strap in front and then just place it to the side. And then stand at the top of your mat and roll your shoulders up, back, and down a few times. And then building some more heat in. Take a breath in for your halfway lift. As you exhale, ground your palms with your fingers spread wide. Take a vinyasa, which is that flow of your plank, push-up, up dog, and down dog. Or if you'd like to eliminate that flow sequence that I so often like to put, even work up to holding this pose for a full minute or even up to 5 minutes a day, you would be amazed at how much mobility this brings to your shoulders and how much straighter you would stand as you move throughout your day-to-day activities. But for now, we're going to move from our downward dog sit. Now, keeping the fingers spread really wide on that right hand, I want you to just dip your heels over to the right side and reach your left arm overhead, taking either a modified plank or a side plank or a full plank with your ankles stacked one on top of the other. Yeah, or if you feel like you're ready for a plank variation, now look down and slither that left forearm underneath us into a forearm plank on the opposite side. So this time it's a little bit less about the shoulder, although it still is involving the shoulder, but you're going to feel it more in the core as well. Pull your head back in space slightly so that your ear with both arms down and our fingertips pointing forwards on the mat. Now drop your hips enough that they're in line with your shoulders, but puff up through your upper back. And now, like a little hovercraft, I want you to glide forward a few inches and then glide back a few inches. Glide forward and then glide your right hand to plank followed by your left. Push yourself all the way up and then downward facing dog. Really good job, you guys. I kind of increase the energy in my voice there to help you at home dig deep and find those reserves of strength and energy that you do have available to hop your feet up. Breathe in, finding that space. Breathe out to find that release. And then on strong legs, inhale, come all the way up, lift through the pelvic floor, hands to heart on the exhalation, shoulders soft. Again, own pace, or you go straight back to a downward dog and you pause there. So what's going to help us with our shoulder stability here is really keeping those fingers spread wide and pressing most of the weight into the L shape of the inner palms and the index. It's here that Taylor repositioned her hand. That's a really good cue. I'm a little bit more like Sid. I tend to keep my hand where it already was, but centering it can give you better stability. Feel free to play around with a variation of this side plank position if you like. Try to lift up out of that left shoulder while you would want to forget that this was here. Good. Stacking the inner ankles, stitching your ribs in a little bit towards your hip bones. Good. And then come into a full forearm plank. And then bring your knees down for a moment. Ooh, nice. Now dip your heels to the right, dip your heels to the left. Go back and forth here just a few times. So good. Zen-like expression on the faces, like this is no big deal. Good. And two variations here. You can take the palms of the hands together and point the fingertips straight up. You can do what Sid's doing, placing the fingers on the shoulder blades. Or you could take a more traditional child's pose with your arms stretched out in front or your hands stacked fist on fist. And you can sit back on your heels and roll your shoulders a few times. So the trick with some of these more advanced poses is we want to wake up the muscles required to do these postures. We want to mobilize them as well, but we don't want to tire ourselves out so much that then that final pose is no longer on. As if you were setting up for headstand, wrapping your fingertips around the outer upper arms. And then you'll take the fingertips out to meet and then interlace your fingers. Can you make sure that you're really balancing on the razor's edge of what is called the ulna? Okay, so it's this lift your hips up and back, and this is basically a forearm downward facing dog that you're doing. If you're tight through the hamstrings, I recommend you have your feet at least hips width apart, heels lifted, knees generously bent, so that you can focus on pressing your chest closer toward. Now either hold it here or take your gaze towards your knuckles and glide your chin forward as if you were peering over the edge of a cliff, and then press yourself back. And I'm going to challenge you to do this anywhere between 5 to 10 times, like if you were doing your own practicing way to strengthen and mobilize your shoulders. You might even be able to tap your chin on the floor in front of your knuckles. Yeah. Okay, and after you've done that, bring your knees down, give yourself a little rest. You can do a child's pose again or come up to kneeling and roll the shoulders a few times. And then let's try one more dolphin variation before we go into our full headstand. So, coming back up here to a kneeling position, set your arms up. It's quite a tight grip, so a lot of folks kind of think that your upper arms. And then you take your fingertips out, okay? Interlace your fingers, curl your toes under, bring yourself back up into your dolphin position. And this would also be a great prep pose for a forearm balance called Pincha Mayurasana. Or you can look towards your hands, and I want you to take a little step forward with your right foot and lift your left leg high up. And feel that weight shift into the elbows. Feel yourself resist that weight as you push the elbows down. Good. Now step the left foot a few inches in front. Little mini steps, and keep walking yourself forward and forward until eventually you would become weightless and you would float up into a forearm balance. But we're not going there today, so don't worry. Go ahead and take a resting pose when you're ready, either a child's pose or a kneeling position. Relief to the shoulders and to the neck. And what I've done here with Taylor and with Sid is just kind of raked my fingers across the traps. Just giving a little massage. Has arrived. Is headstand risky? Yes, it is. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are setting yourself up as safely as possible for it at home. Do it against a wall. I have nothing against using a wall for support. Of course, even if you, but the most important thing to remember in headstand is that only about 20% of the weight is actually on the head. 80% of the weight is going to be in the arms, specifically the elbows themselves. Your hand position, honestly, every style of yoga recommends some of the backs of my hands to fall like so, and the palms of my hands open and just kind of cup the back of my head. I'm not so worried about your hand position because, again, 80% of the weight is going to be in the elbows, okay? So let's show everybody at home how to first set up for it. You're gonna wrap your fingertips. Now interlace the fingers. Press your elbows down and out to traction that forearm flesh to the inside of the ulna bones. And then cup the back of your head. So it will really feel like a relatively dramatic tuck of the chin. You want to get right on your nose and other things. So, but thereabouts on the center of the head. Now curl your toes under, straighten your legs, and before you go any further, I want you to push into your elbows so that your shoulder blades slide down your back towards your waist. You see here? So there's lots of space between the ears. And then you would visit egg pose, where you float the heels in towards the hips and you really establish that feeling of balance. That's okay, Taylor. You can go in with your legs straight if you like. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Where you would establish that center of gravity of stacking the hips over. However many tens of thousands of you out there, you might have the courage to extend your legs up overhead. Now, once you develop confidence in your headstand, you can do all kinds of cool variations, playing around with destabilizing yourself. You'll notice that even as her lower body changes position, her shoulder girdle stays absolutely rigid and still. So the shoulder positioning is non-negotiable as she utilizes her core muscles to rotate her body into these different configurations. Adult ears. I know headstand can be scary. A lot of us have never gone upside down since we were kids, but it's a great thing to aspire to because it flips our perspective upside down. It forces us to be comfortable with letting go of control ways in the brain. Sid, that's a really impressive long headstand that you have held there. Now, something you could do as you start to find your way out of your headstand is to find a pike position with your legs at a 90-degree angle. And this requires tremendous core strength, tremendous hamstring flexibility, and then take either a child's pose or a kneeling position to allow the blood to flow back in its normal direction and for all of your systems to recalibrate. Find a smooth, and I know it's so common for folks at home to watch and just think, well, this is really fun to watch yoga with Katie, but certainly none of these moves are for me and I could never do this. But you would really be surprised if you start a regular yoga practice, either studio, or you could do yoga on any sort of online platform for 15 minutes a day. And you would be amazed at how quickly your body responds to these yoga asanas, how you start to develop the mobility and the strength needed to be able to play around with these really fun advanced postures. So you can come up to a kneeling position and take a hero's pose here, stretching yourself back in space. Either sit on your feet, sit on your heels with your knees either together or apart, or you might want to sit on a block if you feel some tension in the knees. Are you sure you're okay there, Taylor? It feels good? So when you're really quite flexible like Sid, you can do this fun variation where the teacher will actually stand on you and in his thigh bones, which creates a lot of spaciousness through his lower back area. I hope that felt good. Yeah. Once you have enjoyed this reclined position for any length of time, you'll ease yourself up and always complete your practice with coming into that resting pose, I'll invite you to stay here for as long as you have time for. And I think what really emerged as today's theme in this practice was about finding courage and doing something that takes you out of your comfort zone, whether it's I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And in yoga, we say, my inner child bows to your inner child. Namaste.
Do you have feedback on Cable 14's programs? Let us know by calling 905-523-1414, extension 227, or email feedback@cable14.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Levine, retired medical oncologist and breast cancer researcher. I'm also one of the founders of the Bright Run. I would love it if you joined us on Saturday, September 12th at Christie Lake Conservation Area for our 19th annual Bright Run. Help us fund critical breast cancer research right here in Hamilton. Visit brightrun.ca for more information.
Chair and leader of the Bright Run, Nancy McMillan, and Ninja Warrior champion Drew Morelli.
Singer-songwriter Susie McNeil here talking about her upcoming show at the Westdale. Then later on, we'll have an adorable, adoptable pet from the Hamilton-Burlington SPCA here in studio.
Tim Podesick will be here. Why? Well, because of beer, of course. And Hamilton Life's Harmony McKenzie goes on location to Gray's Craze, where she learns how to build a charcuterie to go.
All that and more coming up on this edition of Hamilton Life.
Well, here we are in the Cable 14 studios, folks. One last time before we finally hit the airwaves for the summer break, and it's been a heck of a season. Thank you so much for tuning in again, Mike Fortune, Linda Rourke. Linda, great having you in studio again. And
these are the tears.
We got a big show. You're starting to cry on me here. Here, you want to take my hanky? Here you go. Here you go.
It's nice,
actually. You like that? Okay. So, what is the most Hamilton way to spend a summer Saturday?
The most Hamilton way?
What's the most Hamilton way?
My way or just generally
What's your way? What's Linda's way?
A patio.
A patio with a local craft beer.
Probably with a local craft beer, like Collective Arts or Merritt Brewing. Well, do they have a patio? I don't know if I've been to Merritt during the summer
Is that the one on Main Street?
On James.
Oh, on James. Yeah, I don't know if they do either.
That's a good question.
Okay.
Anyway.
Beach day at Van Wagner's or a patio downtown?
But I really do enjoy their fish and chips. I don't eat it very often, but they do have a good one.
So best ice cream spot then in the city?
Oh, anything with Hewitt's dairy ice cream.
Can't go wrong,
It's so good. Their coconut ice cream is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a big fan of coconut, so I couldn't do it.
What's your favorite ice cream then?
Oh, give me chocolate. Chocolate,
plain
double
chocolate?
fudge chocolate chip cookies.
That's boring, Mike.
I know, but I'm a boring person.
No, you are not.
No, I am. I'm a very boring person. Very boring. Okay, barbecue.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because propane's so easy,
Simple,
but there's
light it,
something
off you
about
go.
charcoal barbecuing that's pretty cool.
So you're going with charcoal?
Maybe. I can't even remember the last time I've cooked on charcoal because you just light the propane. You?
Oh, simple for me.
Yeah, so
just
propane.
Turn it on and fire it up.
Boring and simple.
Boring and simple.
It's the new
Boring and simple. That's what we
important.
just said, right? Hamburger over a hot dog.
Oh, hamburger any day. Homemade though, it has to be made I don't know what's in a hot dog, so I can know what's going in my burger. You?
You never want to go and see how hot dogs are made.
No, I do not. That's
A
why I don't
hamburger
eat
or
them.
smash burger even? You like your smash burgers
I just
now.
perfected smash burgers.
You
I'm
told
so
me this.
excited. My family's
So
like,
when's
these
the
are
invite?
amazing. I know. I have to have a little backyard party.
We'll have to have the whole Cable 14 crew out.
There we go. I got the space.
Best free activity to do in Hamilton?
Oh, I would say any of the trails.
And I
Like
knew you were
hiking.
going to say
Yeah,
that.
you knew. How about you? Well, even riding, right? There's so many trails to ride your bikes on too.
Yeah.
Rail trail's great.
I'm not the most active person anymore. So, you know what I like?
Simple, not very active.
Here's what, Thursday nights. Yeah, simple, boring.
All right, Thursday night what?
Go down to Pier 8 Williams, and they have Thursday night summer concerts.
Yes.
Beautiful stuff. So my favorite place to go in the summer is the water. Anytime there's
I'm with
water
you.
around, just put me by the water.
100%. I would say the same thing, and I think we're very fortunate, especially down by the pier. We've got it's a beautiful look into the harbor, looking over at the RBG ground, so it's nice.
And don't ruin the harbor by putting in a data center. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, you had to say that.
I
Yeah.
had to get
Didn't
in.
they squish it?
Little
Squash
dig.
it?
Oh, it's going to be talked about.
We'll see. All right. All right, there we go.
That's it. Was that our
Something-
banter for our last
something to
show?
think
That was
about.
it.
It was good.
Lots to think about
Lots
over the summer. It was
Exactly. I'm
good.
sure people are like hot dog hamburger. That's going to be the question of the day. All right, after the break,
geez, we're being
I will
told.
be chatting with Tim Podesick about the Because Beer Craft Beer Festival. I cannot wait, so stick around.
Oh, hey there, my name is Steven Sobot, and I'm your host for Breaking Pack, the show that opens up the latest and newest trading cards to see what we can find inside these boxes. From Pokemon to Magic the Gathering to hockey or other sports to what other card game I get my hands on. Catch us on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Check out Breaking Pack here on Cable 14 to quench your thirst for cardboard addiction.
Adele is one of our current staff members. She had a rough, challenged life, and it was because of your support that made that difference. She is now on the right track, continuing her education, going into a college, looking into the field of child and youth, and it's because you...
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
It's been a while. It's
Yeah.
wonderful doing so much great things in this city. Like you really do. You're a
Brewers that are going to be participating as well. So yeah, it's going to be a great one.
huge number. I was reading the list, and a lot of them I know because I'm a huge craft beer lover.
Mhm.
I'm so glad the craft beer industry was created and that it's happening. To me, it's like someone who's not a big wine drinker.
Right.
It's kind of like that because you taste it, you know, get the different tastes of the different kinds of beer, and this is a great way to explore that because you've got everybody there.
Yeah, like I think everyone from Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken, and you know we support the Ontario Craft Brewing, Association. To try, you can't try them all. You could try, but you can't try them all.
You need a weekend pass for that one if you're going to try all of them, right?
Absolutely. I'll if you want to go for it, I'll support it. Yeah, it's super fun. It's like a really chill, beautiful park. Pier 4 is the best. It's like
really
you can
is.
just hang out by the water, sit up on the berm, be under the tents. We've got the big stage again with all the talent on it and everything, which you can see from pretty much everywhere in the park.
Yeah,
So-
and even if you're just walking down the waterfront area, you're going to hear it because it's all automatically goes. Brantford, Burford girls. So
Yeah,
Wayne's
it's all
part
the
of
same.
growing up. But yeah, thanks.
So yeah, Dwayne, born in the 80s, Wing Night. It's going to be pretty awesome. Like we feel like we've brought together the best cover bands in Southern Ontario for it should be a cover band festival, quite frankly, because it's so awesome. Ticket sales are great for the Friday night and the Saturday night already. So, we're really excited, expecting great weather and all the things that come along with it.
Yeah, and Saturday night, Big Wreck.
Big Wreck, yeah, Flatliners, and Death from Above, like a couple of months. Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun. I got my tickets early for the Friday night because I'm not missing it this year, and it's in the calendar, and I can't wait. So as I said, it's such a great opportunity to just get out and have a great weekend. The weekend pass is a great idea if you want to go for the whole event. But you just can't miss getting out in the city in the summer because we do have such a great city for that.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I guess I could talk about a couple of bring a special keg.
Yeah.
So look out for that. Come early, stay long, you know, the way I like to say
sure.
it. Stay for the whole event. And
Yeah, food trucks as well. There'll be
tons
lots
of
good
food trucks, lots of good food, and yeah, just lots of, amazingly, a lot of things to do in a small park that will keep you busy, and tons of great people watching, and amazing. It's a good, diverse group of people that come, and it's always super fun.
It really is, and it's a great way. I mean, even though it's into July, but a great way to kick off the summer, and then eventually.
Excited for that. I wish I could be here to announce that lineup
I know
as well,
it's too
but
bad, and yeah, we can't quite because we won't be on air then. But people can take a look, find out what's happening. It's a really incredible weekend event that happens in the city as well in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, it is rammed packed with content.
Yeah.
So I say probably a little bit more than last year. So, the two big main flanking stages, a local stage on the music side, all of the fashion shows that we do, the drag shows that we do, all the dance that we do, bringing back the chess master again. So it's going to be, and some circus performances, all the art installations, like the things that we do. Concrete Canvas is going to continue to paint the Eaton Center, the old mall.
Oh yeah, that's excellent. Yeah.
So there'll be more live muraling going on, 40 plus food trucks, hundreds of craft vendors. Again, you actually can't see everything and do everything at Supercrawl. Even if you came for the whole weekend, you'd miss things. So
yeah, no, it's really remarkable what you've done for the city, and I'm going to say that, Tim, because you really have been such a champion of Hamilton, bringing great things here. Making sure the city is doing well, that it looks great. All of those things that we need to do as a community to continue to see Hamilton move forward. So
yeah, well, thank you. We try hard. I've got an incredible team. There's so many people that are doing all the hard work. I'm just luckily I'm the face. I am lucky I get to come and speak with you.
That's great. Well, we're lucky too to be able to chat with you. So because beer, dates?
July 10th and 11th.
So get your tickets if you haven't already. You can do a weekend pass if you can manage a couple days. I don't know, one will probably do me in.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Great to see you again.
Nice to see you
Thanks
too.
so much for coming in. Now with more on what's happening across Hamilton, let's head over to Paul and get this week's The Vibe.
Thank you, Linda, and hello everybody. Here's at some upcoming events and then also looking ahead to some of the events happening this summer. Just a reminder, we've got the Brock Music ticket giveaway. If you go to the Vibe Hamilton on Instagram or Facebook, find the post, follow us and comment music, then you'll enter into the draw to win 2 tickets. And Hamilton Italian Fest is June 20th and 21st. And also that weekend is Goatapalooza at Triple C Farm. Everything goats, if you love that. Canada Day weekend, it's the O Canada Rib Fest in Waterdown. And then basketball fans can gather at the TD Coliseum for Canada's international games July 3rd and 6th. And then the end of July is the 50th Festival of Friends at Gage Park. And then Latino is happening at Gage Park August 14th to 16th. And then finally, Cactus Parade and Festival towards the end of the month, August 21st and 23rd. So whether you're charming with goats or watching some hoops or salsering away the summer, plenty to do across the city.
Hey, Paul, thanks a lot for all that great information about what's coming up this summer. Look forward to seeing you around our great city, and go support some local stuff. The Vibe, go check it out. My next guest is a provincial and national Ninja Warrior champion within youth division. He represented Hamilton at the Canadian National Ninja Warrior competition out in British Columbia. That's quite a list of introductions. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
And you're just getting started, man.
Yep.
You're just getting started. So, was it a typical moment sitting around the house with mom and dad and brother, flipping around the TV, and you saw the show come on?
Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed watching it.
Basically what you said to mom and dad?
Yeah.
Mom, am I kind of getting the story right?
True. He was in gymnastics and karate at the time, so
yeah,
it was a sport that involved both, which...
And you know what? As a parent, you understand it. Don't just stick to one sport. Get involved in a bunch of things because you can do things like this. Talk to us about your training. That's a local guy here in Hamilton?
Yep.
And whereabouts in Hamilton do you train out of?
I train right around Stony Creek.
Right around the Stony Creek area.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big complex there, I guess, right?
It's the Cat and Ninja Warrior.
I'm introducing her as Mom, but it's Amanda. This is Drew's mom, by the way. Sorry, Mom.
It's okay.
But again, big facility.
It's incorporated into it as well.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool. Take us through these competitions, Drew. The mindset, the skill that is involved, because I'm sure it's a lot different than what we see on television.
So right before a competition, I like to have a nice breakfast. Then when I get there, I like to stay nice and focused. We have around 10-15 minutes before my run, I start to warm up, get my body ready. And then right before my run, I get really focused. Then I run, and then I hopefully do really good.
Toughest obstacle?
Toughest obstacle that I've ever done has to be either between a vertical limit, literally a bar, and then you have it on something about that long, just a little cradle, and you hop it with...
And you got to go up. I know the one you're talking about, yeah. And even that hand one, too. Like, you must have some pretty strong finger muscles right now.
Yeah.
Where's the joy of this?
I really just love competing. It's probably my most favorite part about it is just competing, being there at the actual competitions, and really just brings a lot of joy to me.
And as much as and it's great that you have, that's probably one of the biggest plaques I've seen won. You got the trophies, you got the t-shirt, and yes, the events are important at what you're learning, but
in sports, like maybe you might not be the best friends with the competitors, but in Ninja, since it's not really that big yet, I'm great friends with everyone who I compete against. I'm pretty sure everyone else is too. Like, I'm so close friends with everyone because we live pretty close to each other. Made a lot of great friendships around Vaughan.
Well, you have a younger son too who's also involved in this, but to have two kids who are invested, who found something at an early age that they're enjoying doing, you have to drag them every time.
Yeah, I think the key to this was I provided all the sports, all the arts, all the music when they were younger. It's been a wonderful journey.
Yeah, and it's only just begun. And enjoy it, because when it ends, when they start to age out and then they move on, or maybe they don't want to do it anymore, then you'll be like, man, where did all that time go? What's training like for you right now in the summer? When's your next big event?
So my next big event, I actually leave Thursday. Right now is getting a bit lighter, just preparing the body for it, and I've got a couple of rips recently, which are skin peeling off.
You got to look after those, right?
Yep, got to look after them.
A lot of polysporin and Band-Aids.
Yeah, and then just really keeping the body in shape right before Worlds, and just getting a couple different leagues that run through the summer. I get ready for those. But I just try to stay in shape for the whole summer leading up to the next competition.
Mindset, mentality, diet, exercise, you're learning at an early age how important all this is, aren't you?
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, and you're an actor to boot. So you got lots on the go.
Yeah.
Next year you're going to Riddell. Mum, for you. I just got out of it myself, not through the Ninja, but I understand how expensive sports can be, and sponsorships are always crucial. Is the club looking for something? Is Drew looking for sponsors? How can we help out a young kid like this to further his dream?
It's its own to get to the competitions, to pay for the competitions, and they can be quite costly, especially when we have two. We're traveling to the States twice a month. With the exchange rate and hotels, it adds up so fast. So Drew is definitely on the hunt for some sponsors that see something and believe in him.
What is the best way for me, but also for our viewers, to follow you? Do you got an Instagram page or something we can follow?
Yeah, I do have an Instagram page. It's Drew M Journey.
Okay.
And before I actually had another one, unfortunately got taken down. I don't know why, because probably...
Because you're too good.
Yeah.
You're too good, right? Yeah.
So I would say you just have to believe yourself, be ready for the changes that have to happen. When I started, my hands were perfectly fine. Now they're not so great anymore. They're a bit roughed up. You have to be ready for that, and you have to be just ready to have the mentality of training.
Also wishing your brother all the best too. Congratulations. Give us an update when you get back, when we're here in the fall. Want to know how you did, and all the best to becoming a national champ, all right?
Thank you.
Mom, thank you. I know all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. After the break, Nancy Bell will be here talking about the Bright Run for breast cancer. Stick around.
I hope I never make you mad.
You left me alone.
I couldn't save us!
For every action, there's a reaction.
I don't know how to do anything else. Neither do I.
You were caught?
Not exactly.
I want you to marry me.
Well, welcome back to Hamilton Life. The Bright Run is an annual community fundraising event that raises money for breast cancer research at both the Juravinski Cancer Center and McMaster University. Joining me now are Nancy McMillan and Dr. Donovan. So great to have you both here.
Thank you.
Thank you. This has been an incredible journey in our community, having the Bright Run. And Nancy, we go way back. Like, I've been out at the Bright Runs with cameras, you know, showing the incredible fun that families have out there. So for those who'd be like, the Bright Run, might be a few people that still don't know. What is it all about? I know. What?
What? Bright Run is local fundraisers, raising local dollars to support local researchers to advance breast cancer research that impacts internationally. So it's somewhat like the little engine that could, and boy, are we doing it. So this year, we are hoping to raise another at the Christie Lake Conservation Area. We were formerly back in the day at Dundas Valley, but we grew and grew, so we got promoted to Christie Lake. So it's just a day of celebration. It's electric, it's energetic, it's enthusiasm. It's just all things positive through the following year.
Yeah.
And for a lot of folks who walk into the Juravinski Cancer Center, it gives them something to really look forward to as they're coming in for all of those appointments. And the people who are coming in with them, they've got something to look forward to, and they come and they have a blast.
Yeah, it really is a community of supports in our community. And then, as you said, you know, people will come into the treatment centers to get the help that they need, supported by an also incredible group of amazing people that we have here in our community. And as you said, the money stays here in Hamilton. So Dr. Donovan, I'm going to come over to you because Nancy, you did mention the money, you know, is for research and make some changes in, you know, how we look at breast cancer and just cancer in general. So what are some of the things that you've been working on?
So I am very fortunate to have two projects that have been funded by the Bright Run and the Bright Foundation. Both of these are focused on improving radiation treatments for patients with breast cancer and hopefully reducing for a full week. That's the standard treatment. And then some patients have increased risk factors for local recurrence. And so then we give those patients an additional week of treatment. And so we're really looking at seeing if we can combine those 2 weeks into just 1 week, which we think will do a number of things. Of course, there's reducing trips to the cancer center, improving convenience for patients, which is really helpful when patients are trying to work or support a family. There's also the potential to reduce acute or short-term toxicities and late toxicities, improve cosmetic outcomes, and hopefully quality of life, and just increase the number. Second study is looking at patients who have breast cancer that has spread outside of the breast, and we have really good drug treatments available for patients in this situation. And we want to see if we can prolong the life on those drug treatments by adding radiation in for patients that have progression in a few focused areas. So by giving local ablation or radiation to the quality of life, we may delay the time that we need to before starting more toxic therapies. And so these are just two examples of studies that the Bright Run has funded. I think it's really important to also mention that there are many of these projects that the Bright Run has funded in the past, and sometimes it's really hard to get research projects started because in order to start to be able to get a huge amount of funding, let's say a federal grant, and often this is just not possible without having a foundation grant to get pilot data that you can then take for a larger grant application. And there's many trials that have changed practice and treatments for breast cancer internationally that have started with our small pilot studies founded by the foundation. So it's
so important to our community to get these funds so that you can do this research and we can advance things, you know. And looking back to Nancy, like, you know, you were diagnosed with breast cancer about, was it 18?
18 years ago.
Years ago. And from your treatments 18 years ago to the treatments now, that's even changed, right? Conversation before coming to the studio, and I was quite amazed. So you said you did like 30 treatments?
Yes.
Which would now be how much? How many treatments, Dr. Donovan?
So many patients are eligible for just 5 treatments, actually. They're, you know, everybody's a little bit different, so there are some circumstances where people may need more, but we've really developed the ability to really tailor and personal that patients have to come for and still having a safe and effective treatment.
And how amazing is that? Just for the quality of life, or, you know, how much time it takes out of your life. Because as you mentioned too, like, we're often still doing other things. Like, people are functioning, still going to work, doing all these things while they're going through these treatments, which is really remarkable. remarkable, but it's also because of how far it's come in the sense of life that have had breast cancer but are now cancer-free, and that's pretty incredible.
And you know, the really interesting word is the word had.
Yes.
Had breast cancer. I had it. I don't have it now. Yeah.
Yeah, and look at what that gave you in the sense of the motivation to make. That's what's so important, right? Is that we all come together. We support something like the Bright Run that supports research, and then you do your incredible work and you make these, you know, amazing discoveries and things that can change people's lives and make that journey just a little bit better, because we still, to this day, are scared when we hear cancer come out of the mouths of our doctors, right? So if we can make that journey better by Thank you so much for coming in and making the time to Dr. Donovan to talk.
We're all going to, you know, pool parties and outings, and what's all the craze this year? Charcuterie. So that is why I am at Gray's Craze. I am with the owner, Danielle Parks, and you've got an awesome spread in front of us, and we're going to learn how to make it into the perfect little picnic box, right?
Yes. So today I thought we would do the picnic box, the wine pairing, because I think of our region, I think of summer. So this is a really fun one. You can grab, it's all wrapped up. You've got from your meats to your cheeses to fresh fruits, vegetables with a little bit of sweet and salty. So from hard to soft, you have an array of all the different types of cheeses, from, you know, your Gouda to your goat cheese to your Brie, Parmesan, and then you have all the meats to pair with it. You got your prosciutto, you have your sopressata, you have your Genoa salami, and so on. And then we've got all our fruits, our breads. Our breads are par-baked. We finish baking in-house, so it's as fresh as can be, with some nice crackers, some garnishes that you'll see at the end that go on our cucumbers and on top of our goat cheese. And then all these dips you see here, so that jam and this red pepper hummus is made in-house every day. So we don't do any store-bought dips. We make it.
Which is great. You're making it with local ingredients and you're making it here, so you know it's as fresh as can be. Now, am I the only person when I get bored, I just eat all the cheese?
No, that's my husband as well.